and I just haven't done it in like a decade.
We are live.
I haven't done it in like hours.
Damn. I might be
I
talking
haven't
to you
done
later.
it since yesterday when I watched the very disappointing season finale of House of the Dragon.
I'm still like 3 episodes behind.
Bad.
There's nothing happened.
I've not seen any of this season, so
It's a
Hello,
fine
chat.
season, but imagine build up to nothing.
no, I know, and that's what I heard too. I mean, obviously, I watched all of last season. I really enjoyed it, and then we just were behind on other shows, so we didn't start watching this one. And then I heard, some meh things about the finale, which sucks.
Yeah, it is the lowest rated. Oh no, not quite. Kind of all over the board on IMDb. That's not super surprising though.
I guess IMDb is like the go-to for user reviews on something like a movie or a show, right?
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Where else do you go for user reviews?
I mean, there's plenty.
Rotten Tomatoes, like their site is so bad. I can't even I get nauseous even looking at it. Although IMDb fucking sucks too now. Remember we used to be able to scroll down a little bit and start seeing the cast. Yeah. Now it's all like fucking embedded stuff. That's you got to. Oh, it's terrible. It's awful.
I also hate that their cast images are like 40 pixels. Like they're so tiny. Like
I really want you to click through to their profiles.
Probably, but I don't want to.
Yeah, same. We are live on Twitch and YouTube.
All right, hold on a second.
And Nick, you saw my message about next week?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good.
Did y'all change the Twitter password? I lost access to our account, which means I can't retweet my own shit anymore.
Yes, I did, but I'll send it to you later.
Is it because you didn't remember what it was?
No, it had something to do with when I was trying to get set up in Buffer. Yeah, I don't remember what was going on.
I think you had to reconnect the account, and that you couldn't log in, so you had to reset the password, maybe. Because I remember having to reconnect too.
What trailer are we watching?
Well, are we ready to go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
sorry,
very casual. We're eating apples over here.
I was posting in the announcements channel. Let's fucking go.
Okay.
Let's fucking go.
Ooh. An announcement for eating an apple.
Are you really eating an apple, or is this a joke I'm missing out on?
Sure.
It took
casual.
97 years for them to finally get to Darksiders.
What?
It hasn't been. What are you talking about? It hasn't been that
about
long.
5 years since Darksiders 3.
I mean, honestly, did you even really expect a Darksiders 4?
Yes.
I'm not sure I did.
The prophecy has to be fulfilled, Nick.
I mean,
you do not end Darksiders 1 with that good a fucking teaser.
Okay.
I mean, maybe that's the exact time you end it.
Look.
So they've done a game for all of the 4 characters,
the Horsemen.
Right?
Well,
yes.
So
wait.
Now
There's only been 3.
Well,
or
no,
am I forgetting one?
There were 4.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
The isometric one.
The isometric one. Fuck.
So they've done all 4. Is this going to be a game where you think you're Is it going to be like a co-op game? I mean,
that's always been the dream.
This is some Embracer IP now. Like, it's hard to even be excited about Darksiders at this point. And
I feel like I'm one of like 5 people. I feel like I'm one of 5 people who played 3. And even though I enjoyed 3, it is probably the weakest of the 3.
Darksiders 3 was on my top 10 list that year.
I mean, that's
enjoyed
fine.
Good for you,
I mean,
Chris Davis. but he's not wrong. I think
I
it's
enjoyed it
generally
too.
considered to not be the hypest.
I enjoyed it
but I
too,
think even
but-
the isometric one was supposed to be okay. Maybe it's sub the isometric one actually.
I mean, I feel like it peaked with Darksiders
Genesis,
2.
Darksiders Genesis.
I mean, here, look, I'm
Peaked
not
with
saying.
2? I think I peaked with 1, right?
I think 2. I mean, to me personally, 2 is my favorite. 2 is the one that had like a little bit of Portal, a little bit of Shadow of the Colossus, a little bit of fucking Zelda. Like it had, to me, 2 was like the ultimate like hodgepodge of homages and genres that worked really fucking well. I love 2. And
Genesis is a 77 on Metacritic.
I should play Genesis. Look, I enjoyed 3, and I'm not sitting here saying that I don't want another Darksiders. I'll happily take another Darksiders and play it. I just didn't
It's
really
Embracer that bums me out, right? I mean, that's really what it is. Ooh, Darksiders 3 is a 6 in the 60s. So, like, Genesis is definitely the... Wow, I didn't know this was received was pretty middling scores. 64 on PS4. Jesus.
On OpenCritic?
On Metacritic.
What's up, everybody in chat? How do you feel about
OpenCritic's
Darksiders?
fucking trash, so I don't look at it for anything but Fantasy Critic. Also, OpenCritic got sold recently, so we'll see if new management improves things. They do like there are score, and you can move on to the next one. There are score inaccuracies that happen so often, and people on the Fantasy Critic just get so frustrated because they just won't fucking fix them. I have one right now for SteamWorld Heist.
Yeah.
There's a top critic. It's posted as a 4, but it was like. Well, we've seen this plenty.
I know. This is like the 4th trailer talk we've shown.
That's a new one. This is the no. Skip this one. I'm sorry. This is not even the right one. I think I slid on the wrong one. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But like there's like 7s that were accidentally posted as like 0.7 that have like destroyed an OpenCritic average, and that people are begging them for Fantasy Critic reasons, but also probably the publisher's not happy. Please fix this shit. So I have an 8 when it's supposed to be a 9 that I messaged them about, like, hey, can you fix this? And there's no response. So I think that 9 is gonna just stay an 8. So,
Hey Brad, this is trailer talk. Look, it's a giant pig. Look.
And
Shut up,
the
Nick.
pig talked?
You're masturbating over there.
Look.
Hang
Okay,
on. I couldn't
be
catch
honest,
any of what that was.
This trailer made me think. I was like, wait a second. Are they redoing? Are they changing? Are they pivoting on Little Nightmares 3? And then I was like, wait a second. I forgot Little Nightmares 3 is being done by Supermassive. So what the fuck is this?
It's their new game.
I know. It looks very Little Nightmares-y. Like, this looks very much in the spirit of Little Nightmares.
Do you think it's like a license, like they lost the license, or the company, like the publisher is no longer working with this studio? Like, what's going on?
I feel like the only reason they would have handed
I
off
didn't hear it
Little
either, Chris Davis.
There is no. They don't say anything. They say it's coming.
Yeah,
That's,
the
pig literally says it's coming.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's no
I would know
title.
that if I'd ever seen the trailer, but I've never seen the trailer, and everyone's
All right.
talking over it constantly. So, what's the point of us having a
Short
trailer
little
talk?
teaser. Hey, new Little Nightmares game's coming.
Wait, but pause for a second. Because I do.
We
wanna-
could just
I
talk
do-
over this. It's just pillars.
Okay, this is not how trailer talk should work. I thought we said we were going to loop trailers and talk over them until we're ready to move on.
Yeah,
We could probably maybe not talk over them constantly the first time, but then as we talk over them while it's looping, that's probably fine. But,
Okay, that's probably a good idea. So
We're not gonna have to loop Path of Exile, but
I think he was talking about looping this trailer as we talk about it. So Nick had some stuff to say. So Nick,
well, I just wanted. I'm like, I feel like the only reason they would hand off Little Nightmares to a different studio is if they were going to be doing something different, and it seems to be if they're going to do something different, it must be because it's a big deal. Like maybe it is licensed or something, and it's like a big. Shh.
They're coming. It's aliens. Yeah, but this is such big Little Nightmares energy where it's like, it's not like they're it doesn't feel like a big pivot for them.
Yeah, but
fucking gross.
You're making the
monster
supposition
thing.
that's going to be that same IP though, right?
It's.
No.
I mean, Prince of the Universe says Tazir said they were done after 2, which is fine. Whatever.
Well, with Little Nightmares, maybe it's
Okay.
Big Nightmares.
Maybe it is big. I mean, or I feel like they're being coy about this for a reason. Let's move on to the next thing.
What if it's littler nightmares? That'd be good.
Shut up. You shut your whore mouth.
Littlest nightmares. All right, quiet. We're gonna learn about Path of Exile.
You'd have to be mad to settle here.
I don't even know. Oh, I think this was in Discord posted. Yeah,
Welcome to King's March.
one of our community members
Thank you, the
about
infamous
Path of
Nolan.
Exile.
We can erect the greatest
I know that guy.
Very popular series, but you know, obviously we don't give a shit. I mean, maybe Crispy would play this.
planning.
I thought you cared.
Maybe.
Am I wrong?
You ever heard me talk about Path of Exile, homie?
I thought so, but maybe I'm misremembering.
Settlers.
I mean, I feel like you've talked about it.
Tack posted this. Tack. I mean, it's
This
a very
looks very
popular
Baldur's
competitor
Gate-y,
to
doesn't it?
Diablo. It's Baldur's Gate. No, it's a Diablo. It's like the biggest Diablo competitor. It's
Yeah.
free to play these days, and it's really successful.
Ships will be heavy with
I mean, it's a little somewhat famous / infamous about being like notoriously like maybe hard to grok at first because they've added to like that first game over and over and over and over again with so much content. But maybe with a fresh start on the sequel, it won't be so crazy. Also famous for their crazy skill trees and stuff. But the first one, they just kept adding system on top of system on top of system, and
Well, considering how people feel about Diablo these days, I feel like an alternative would be well received.
well, I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, that literally what you're saying could be said when Diablo 3 came out, because Path of Exile has been a thing for like so long, right? And that is kind of how they position themselves. When it's like, hey, you don't want to play that cartoony bullshit in Diablo 3, play some Path of Exile. I don't know where people are with Diablo 4 these days, but we can move. It's just Path of Exile. No, I wasn't.
Next. Again, are we watching a fun? Oh my god, we are.
We're
Not that
eating
much.
apples over here.
Why do you keep
What's
saying
that
that?
mean?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Oh my
Not
god.
really a joke. I'm just
I
saying,
can't.
you know,
So generally
we're
funny.
being very casual. This is not like a professional produced thing. We're just eating apples.
There's no act. here, though.
Yeah.
This is such
Stop,
a weird.
stop trying to make
thing.
fetch happen, Brad. Like, what are you talking about?
But it's not a joke. It's just, you know, eating an apple is like the definition of you know, you wouldn't
don't
eat an
think
apple in a meeting.
Fairly
right?
certain it's not.
I don't think I've ever seen this trailer.
What?
That
Really?
I have.
can't fucking be true.
Yeah.
This is
I
Final
don't know if I
Fantasy
believe that,
15, bro.
Christine.
Yeah, but this
No.
was Versus 13 back in the day. Like, I don't
Correct.
recall ever seeing this.
This was the thing that people wanted. This was
It's-
the
Yes,
Yes.
this is what we
reveal of
wanted, not what we got.
Versus 13.
I forgot he breaks that dude's neck.
Yeah, man, it's
called a murder.
fucking dark and gritty.
It's called a murder.
You know?
Oh, he can still do the little blippy thing.
Definition of edgelord. You know, this ain't no Final Fantasy 13 bullshit. You play as a fucking girl. You know, this is
Someday, bro, I feel like you're gonna say something like that as a joke, and there's gonna be somebody who doesn't realize you're joking.
I mean, I'm pretty sure anybody here watching this right now is pretty familiar with my
Someone new is gonna pop in just in time to hear you say that and be like, "What?"
and what
the
I'm
fuck?
saying is, come on.
Don't do it. Don't do
Ain't
it.
no new person showing up to this stream. What? Who?
I can boot him from the call.
Is anybody in chat new? Hello. I respect women. But I mean,
Yeah.
I was,
Sounds like something someone who doesn't respect women would say.
I was, you know, pretty clearly in the quotes of someone at the time,
Yes.
What the fuck? Castle Crashers DLC.
right? Isn't this absurd?
Yeah.
Out of fucking nowhere.
So, what do you think is going on with the Behemoth? Because obviously, their Castle Crashers funds probably dried up some,
Mm-hmm.
and the last thing they released was a new alien hominid that 3 people paid attention to.
I mean, it's probably just them releasing this new content to get more sales to fund their next project.
Yeah, but I mean, does this reek a little of like desperation or like concern? Like, should we be concerned because, you know, these ideas probably just could have been saved for a sequel? Like, yes, obviously, money from DLC sales would fund their next project. My question is, do you think they're pretty like desperate for? I mean, Castle Crashers is so old.
Yeah.
It is
You know, they could have just done a sequel.
It's about as old as this podcast.
probably.
In fact, it's probably what they desperately need to do, and I'm wondering if maybe they just don't have enough time to get a sequel. Funds to get a sequel together. It's a, you know, it's been a long time since they've had like a real hit. I mean, Battle Block Theater was pretty cool. I like Pit People.
I really
but,
liked Battle Block Theater.
Those
What was
didn't
the last
sell
thing they did?
billions. They literally last year or maybe the end of the year before they released a new Alien Hominid game.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And I don't think anyone really paid attention. But
Oh my god.
this is more Castle Crashers, Behemoth stuff. I think this is their roadmap video.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
There's a lot of fondness for Castle Crashers. I could see them doing, and they probably might have to
Tube.
crowdfund maybe like a sequel. And maybe this is just sort of like building up hype and awareness, reminding people about Castle Crash. Man, a lot of fond memories, nostalgia, right? Especially now that Xbox 360 store
Did they
is like
just
offline.
Coyly turn this into a Alien Hominid trailer. That's pretty.
Well,
funny.
no, this is a roadmap for the
This is a separate
project they're
trailer.
working on.
Oh.
I don't know. You know, it's definitely like one of the fun when I think of like early indie games, Xbox Live Arcade, whatever. Castle Crashers is up there. She was legendary, man.
Battle Block Theater now with a new quality of life update, looking more gorgeous than ever
Good game.
before. It's about
Right? All this is a little like, hey,
Can't I mention this other part
A little like
here?
2012, 2013.
Whatever. Oh, I see this part.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, well, yeah, of course, but also just a little, hey, man, we're still alive. Maybe throw us some homie bucks.
I mean, it could also be the idea that they're going back and updating this to get numbers that they can go to publishers with to get funding for their next project. It wouldn't necessarily be
these all
about how much
separate
money they
trailers?
would get. It'd be how much of an audience they could get.
I feel.
Are you watching
I feel
multiple
like
trailers or is this one trailer?
This is one trailer.
there was two total. We're on the second one. I do believe Castle Crashers 2 is what they need to do next.
Would be good.
This is very weird.
Yeah, it's
DLC
combining
too.
trailers.
Yeah, it is.
Painter Boss Paradise.
If you are way too scared and afraid to create, that's fine, because you can download and play as things other people have created too. Not only that,
I feel like this is like a big yacht club energy where they just
playable characters redrawn.
like an update video with everything that they're kind of working on.
Well, you'll unlock Paint Junior.
Yacht Club's probably a little healthier these days. They're always
Probably a
doing
little.
some crazy Shovel Knight stuff, but you know what actually looks really sick? They're doing like a director's cut version of like Shovel Knight with like all kinds of like crazy content, new shit. Actually, pretty fucking hype. These motherfuckers still go to PAX? They still got a PAX booth?
I don't know. We haven't been to
wonder.
PAX in ages.
Yeah,
True.
since the pre-pandemic times.
Hey, Pit People. Pit People is underappreciated.
Hmm.
Are we still watching the same trailer?
Yes,
I think so.
it's almost done.
Nick, I know you don't like these flash games, right? I'm sorry, homie. We
I don't think it's
like
the flash game part of it.
we like the Behemoth.
Expensive property. Cool mohe fathers de tale Guadalajara.
Okay.
Street Fighter 6.
I wanted to post this because of the. You'll see here in a second. Check this shit out. After the super.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting. What, the dancing? Is that what you were waiting
new
for?
taunts.
Got specifically a God Hand reference to the ending, and the music, of course.
Okay.
Pretty hype. Capcom so rarely acknowledges the existence
Got
of
nothing
God
on
Hand, it makes me
Sunset
sad.
Heroes.
Like Capcom has for a long time, since the release of God Hand, has released 2 Marvel vs. Capcom games, a series that is famous for like its sheer its roster size and the fact that they include all these characters from all these like famous Capcom games, right? Even small games, right? No Gene from God Hand. It's disrespectful. Disrespectful. They even have other Clover characters in Marvel vs. Capcom, like Amaterasu and Beautiful Joe. Where's Gene? Oh, sweet.
Okay,
Or
I
Dead
don't
by
understand this
Daylight.
They come
collab.
for us all.
Wait, you don't understand what?
I don't understand this collab.
Okay, that's a crazy statement.
You don't understand Dead by
Chris Davis.
Daylight and Castlevania crossover?
There's been way more like bizarre crossovers for this series. They have so much licensed crossovers. What are you not understanding? Does Lara Croft make more sense to you? Does literally fucking what's his face? The actor fucking who is the actor that was in this game as just himself? Nicolas Cage was just a character in Dead by Daylight.
Yep.
Oh, so I haven't watched this trailer yet,
Me
or
neither.
not.
Yeah,
all of
this
it,
is why I started doing trailer talk, because you were so bad about watching cool trailers.
because I was.
Well, all of y'all.
The royal you.
This looks pretty fucking great, by the way.
You'll encounter new and interesting people in each of its diverse regions.
Will you?
Gerudo Desert
This is
I
gonna
made it
do
this far
numbers.
in the trailer and I was like, I don't really need to watch this. I feel like they're just gonna. Like, I know what Gerudo Desert is.
All right, Nick. I wanted to show this because, remember when Tears of the Kingdom was revealed and it's like, oh, okay, you can like glue shit together. That's neat.
Yeah.
And then they like subsequent videos are like, oh, also check out all the other fucking powers. You weren't expecting this shit. And it was like, oh, I wasn't expecting all this. This Tears of the Kingdom is going to be crazy. Where you're like rewinding
the trailer?
yourself through. Well, it's not. It's a trailer that is showing more than what we saw before.
Yeah, there's more to the world
And it's
than what we
suggesting that
thought.
what we saw, from originally was just one small part of her skill set. It wasn't all there is. You know what I mean? Kind of like with Tears of the Kingdom,
Right.
and that there might even be more. And you're about to see. This is a little long, but I mean it's like 4 minutes, but it'll get to the new shit soon.
What is the point of cooking rocks?
Make them tasty.
As you wander the jungle, you might come across
Okay.
a Deku
I walked into that.
Rumor has it these peculiar
Ever heard of rock salt?
creatures have a voracious
So I'll put that spice.
I think this game is going to be
During your travels,
fucking
you're likely to encounter people
radical.
dealing with problems
Oh, it's gonna be great.
I think all this Rift stuff too, like all this like stuff all over the environments and dungeons that are like the blue Rift stuff.
whenever you'd like.
Look at that UI; it's
Yeah.
very. Breath
Yeah,
of the
took this
Wild.
UI straight out of Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think like the big rifts that are like cracking into the world, I think
Yeah.
they're going to be used to kind of limit how you can get around. Because otherwise, you could just keep making bed stairs everywhere. That's probably
Yeah.
going to be a way to like
Stairs.
block that, to kind of
Scattered throughout the land.
block you a little
Once you've
bit.
discovered one,
They really are showing like,
quickly by selecting
okay,
it
yeah,
on the map.
fast travel things, but they're about to show an ability that seems like oh, Link also does this in Breath of the Wild. I mean, Tears of the Kingdom kind of thing,
At times like these,
and it looks pretty cool.
Oh my god.
And it looks
opponents-
very Tears of the Kingdom.
gallop right
Mhm.
over
Yeah, this
weaker
is tight.
enemies to send them
This is tight.
flying.
Not the horse, but the horse is tight. Hell
oh my
yeah,
god, the
dude.
horse is so
That's
cute.
cool.
Carrot Echo, you'll be able to call upon your trusty steed from anywhere in the overworld.
Oh my god, the horses are so cute.
Hey, there's different kind of horses.
Yeah, Carlos has this. It's a little scary on Fantasy Critic.
Manned by business scrubs.
Deco vendor.
Here you can blend the ingredients you've collected into delicious drinks.
I mean, this is an easy 90 plus, easy.
Yeah,
Sure to come
probably.
in handy during your travels.
And if you don't believe it, maybe you will by the end of this.
Accessories to enhance your abilities.
Who said it wasn't?
I'm still waiting for the magic.
I'm just
Brad.
saying, maybe if you don't believe it, it'll get to you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, look, outfits! Again, also very Tears of the Kingdom. Here we go, another new ability, Bind.
Whether you're trekking over rugged plateaus,
Bed stairs.
through winding caves,
But do you know what I'm saying? How it seemed
Yeah,
like with
yeah.
Tears of the
What?
Kingdom,
That's
it's like,
cool.
oh, this is Breath of the Wild,
creating
but you can
echoes
glue
is
shit
key
together.
to
And then they
success.
started showing you all these other cool abilities. This gives me,
A huge
give me that
boulder
vibe. This gives me
like
that
cannot
vibe.
be learned as an echo, and your other echoes won't move it either. For obstacles like these, Tri has got you covered with the power of Bind. Use it to make even a massive boulder follow Zelda's movement.
Huh.
Bind can help you unearth buried treasure, or even reposition troublesome enemies. You can also use Bind on your echoes. So get creative and find ways to forge ahead.
Ah,
Alternatively, if you want to follow a moving object yourself, you can use Reverse Bond to go where it goes. Take advantage of a creature's
Shit.
ability to fly,
what?
or to move around quickly.
People are gonna break this shit so
Swapping between
fast.
Bind and Reverse
That's what I'm
Bond
saying, right? It has
to
like
find
big
clever
Tears of the
paths.
Kingdom energy.
Yeah.
Let your
Oh,
imagination
fuck.
run wild, and you're bound to come up with all sorts of ideas.
You're bound.
Use Bind in combination with your echoes to overcome obstacles. Understanding how these two abilities work together.
Put him in the hole.
is
Put him in the
essential to your
hole.
progress.
Yes.
That's what she said.
Now bury him. Bury him alive.
I'm hyped. I'm hyped. This is like
Oh,
low
for
key.
sure.
I feel like people
Are overtaken
are you know, people are already talking about
Underestimating?
like, oh, what's game of the year? What's game of the year? This year's been kind of weak. There's like so many cool games still to come,
Yeah.
and this is a big one, of course.
There's only one way to find out.
They're gonna show us
The
more
Legend of
ability. Nope.
Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Available September 26th only on Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
Did we watch this yet, by the way?
This one?
I don't think
No.
so.
Okay, I know I've talked about it.
Whoa, what is this?
This is Tactical Breach Wizards.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is. We talked about it.
Yeah,
Inspired
I
by
talked about it on
XCOM
the
Chimera
podcast.
Squad.
Oh, shh. This is a funny trailer.
And only one group of mismatched rejects stands in her way. A disgraced retired Navy seer who can see every possible future.
Navy Seer, that's
Yeah.
funny.
Backstory.
Clever.
The freelance Storm Witch, a private investigator whose mastery of lightning is devastating unless her enemies aren't standing near windows. The Necromantic, a surgeon who turned
Nice.
to necromancy when she lost her medical license. She can heal you, but she'll have to kill you first. The rebel riot.
Okay.
Interesting.
I like that. That's clever.
Faith is her armor. But
Damn.
also wearing actual armor. Together, there's no threat they can't stop. As long as they can,
This is my fantasy critic pickup for the week.
they can rewind every time they screw it up. And there's an easy mode if they need it.
It's
Breach Wizard
Tom Francis from, you know, we talked about it, Gunpoint and Heat
Yeah.
Signature
available now.
developer. And I played the demo and
Wait, did you say you
Like-
picked this up? Did I miss that?
Yeah,
on
Brad
Fantasy
did.
Critic,
Yeah.
Oh fuck, I missed that.
and
All
it's good. It's very Into the Breach / Invisible Ink a little bit,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and the writing is really good. Surprisingly, not surprisingly, if you've played Gunpoint.
Ooh. So Brad's list is full. I didn't realize that.
Well, it's not really full, but
Well, for now it is.
Yeah.
The Secret.
Wow, Nick, you didn't even look at the pickups. How far? Is your list full? You're not even looking at
No,
the shit.
I have one left. No, I'm looking at it,
Oh.
dude. I
Crispy did try to pick it up, but we were fighting over.
Ooh.
We have so little money that it's like he bid $2 and I bid $3.
I've been very distracted
knowing
the past
that-
2 weeks.
Oh, well, it's okay. It's okay. If not all of us go sicko mode on Fantasy Critic, no, some of us are worse than
Living
others.
life. Yeah.
I'm liking the look of this.
It starts very like, hey, this is Monster Hunter, but like, there's some big deal stuff here, like being
Do
able
we
to
see the
switch
insect glaive? I
switch your
want to see the
weapon.
insect glaive.
No, you don't see the insect glaive. They're very slow with the rollout stuff. The slinger is a very like Monster Hunter World thing, Iceborne thing, but there's some new stuff here. I mean, it's no wire bug, obviously, but people are happy that they're kind of dialing that back a little bit for Monster Hunter, which I agree with. Being able to like pick up items from afar is really cool.
Ooh.
Looks nice. The game looks nice.
I hope there's some accessibility stuff to make it collection easier.
The exploration.
What do you mean? Like literally, you just saw someone pick up an herb from across the way without.
Yeah,
even
but just
slowing
watching
down.
that trailer, it feels like you're going to be doing a lot of that very often. I just like
What?
the ability to just roam around and it be an auto pickup.
And then what?
Be an
He wants auto pickup.
Yeah, you. When's the last time you played Monster Hunter, bro?
Ooh, look at
I've
the,
never played a Monster
Look
Hunter
at the
game.
anus on that creature.
Oh, yeah. No, you're. I don't know what you think you want, but I'm sure the game is.
I mean, I want something
I think this is-
like Ghost of Tsushima or like Horizon. They've got those features. Last of Us Part 2 had it.
Oh, this is a hunting game, though. I mean, it's.
Yeah.
Almost a Monster Hunter.
Is this a new monster, or has this been in...
This is a new monster.
Yeah.
This new focus mechanic kind of like shows off weak points and lets you. I don't know. It's a little weird.
hit their weak points for critical damage.
I mean, yeah, basically.
If only
Which,
they were demonstrating
which is
just
interesting.
that.
I mean, like, you always could like look in the monster manual, kind of, look in your notes or whatever to see a weak point of a monster. But now you just sort of have a mechanic so you can see it in real time, which is kind of neat. Well, especially
just
because you're kind
say-
of like making weak points.
Can I just say, I fucking love the way this game looks visually. Like, holy
look
shit.
Good.
Just fucking
Yeah.
stunning.
It looks good. My only precaution here, or my worry, is that based on what I've heard about Dragon's Dogma 2, I would worry that it might not run that well.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, sure.
I
I mean,
played Dragon's Dogma 2 at launch, and it certainly wasn't. I mean, I didn't find it.
Oh
to be
no, it was
particularly
awful at
distracting.
launch. What are you talking
I mean,
about?
I played it on PC. I didn't play it on console.
Oh, yeah, PC. It was fine.
Yeah.
Which
On
is probably what I'll
PlayStation
end up
5,
playing this
it was,
on.
It was not fine.
Fuck it. Let's just add a fucking machine gun.
It's a heavy
not?
Chris
bowgun,
Davis.
Chris Davis.
Yeah, this has been a Monster Hunter for a very long time. But the cool thing is like if you were living that bowgun life, you were living that bowgun life. That's like you're committed to it, right? But now being able to just have one on your mount that you can like swap to at any time, or like go into a hunt, unload all your crazy fucking ammo, and then when you run out, switch to your fucking longsword or whatever.
God,
That's so
damn.
fucking cool. It's like a game changer,
Yeah.
honestly. It'll speed
Oh my
up
God.
hunts. It'll make certain hunts like easier. I don't know.
All right, what's the over under? Are they gonna? Do we think is the insect glaive popular enough that it's gonna be back in this game?
No. Yeah, I mean, of course it'll be back. All the weapons will be back.
I mean,
But
I thought
they don't-
some
they
weapons drop in and out of
they-
the series.
Well, okay. Very limited times where they've taken weapons away from the series, and very long ago. Like no modern era Monster Hunter game has taken away a weapon. It's been a very long time. Not since Monster Hunter Try, I think, have they removed a weapon from a previous game. Yeah. So. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
What I'm more concerned about is, are they going to introduce new weapons, or is it just going to be the 14 that have been in the series since 4 Ultimate or whatever?
So this is legally distinct Half-Life as a survival crafting game.
Survival crafting.
We've seen a trailer for. We've talked
People
about this
have
before.
yeah. People have recommended this for
Like a game night.
like as like going to be a great game night game.
Oh no, yeah, for sure. It's already in like early access, or at least like there's a
Something like
Or
that, or
preview
there
or
was a
something
demo.
available.
Yeah, it came out back in
beta.
May.
like a demo. Yeah, demo available. Which I've seen some footage of. It looks like it's pretty fun.
Yeah, this is like absolutely like the game that we all have a great night with, and then Nolan goes sicko mode on.
Probably.
Like 100%. This is that.
You're
game.
Is that what we're officially
wrong.
calling it? Sicko mode?
Yeah. Dude, I've seen some footage of this, and especially just that I've seen some footage of people playing like the demo, and there's so much more in this trailer than what's in that demo. So yeah, I
Is
can totally see this being a very good game.
Does this have a date yet?
Next
I
year.
love how Half-Life 1 it looks. It's so great.
Yes.
So amazing. This might be the last trailer. I don't actually know, but
I think
we're getting there.
More.
It is 8:45.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not.
One
too
segment
impressed with
show?
this game anyways. One segment
Ooh,
show.
what the
I
fuck
don't
is
have any
this?
new games to talk about, so I'm down to.
Yeah, neither do I.
This is
I
after,
do want to
like,
hear some opinions on some of the games tonight, but I don't have anything.
After
to-
2 decades, this is a new Titan Quest.
right?
This sounds like Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Just saying.
This
This
is
is-
Titan Quest. I don't know if
No,
it's really
I'm
gonna. I don't think this game's gonna have the budget to like compete with Diablo or even Path of Exile, but I
No.
think some people have some fond memories because back when Titan Quest came out, it's like there wasn't really competitors to Diablo at all. So it's like, oh, it's like Diablo, but it's like the setting is fucking what like
This
pharaohs
looks
and stuff.
This looks pretty neat,
Looks a
honestly.
little budge. Looks a little budge.
Really? I think this looks better than... Never mind. I'm gonna keep that opinion to myself.
Yeah, you should probably. You're not. You I feel like in 2024, starting the year with the Prince of Persia hate, I feel like.
What are you
your graphics
talking
takes-
about?
Your graphics takes have been questionable in 2024.
You are insane, sir.
I'm the insane one. Okay, you're the one who made all
I
the
love
artists
Prince of
on Prince
Persia.
of Persia cry.
I mean, it's not ugly. It's just not particularly pretty either. I don't know.
Cool.
So this is not the original developers, right?
I mean, it was so long ago. What does that even mean?
I mean, just like sometimes you get the everyone coming together to do it
What year
again.
did Titan Quest come out?
Oh, this is the okay. I looked it up.
I think it looks.
Grim Lore Games. They did Spellforce 3. I don't know anything about Spellforce.
Titan Quest 2. I'm adding this to my wish list because the commercial told me to.
Wow.
And that was the last.
You know, I actually heard Tom Francis does like dev interview stuff because I've been following Tactical Breach Wizards, and he said that like the wish list numbers. So he's released. This is the third game he's releasing. He released Gunpoint and Heat Signature, which were, successful enough when you're like a person. But he was saying that the wish lists for Tactical Breach Wizards are like exponentially higher than they were for his last 2 games, but that is very unreliable because how much like wish listing has been pushed by indie devs and like indie publishers as like this is just something you do now, and there's all these like Next Fest where it's all about wish listing, and you can't even like, I'm accidentally wish listing shit when I'm like flipping through the Next Fest because they just have a button right there on the fucking list to add it to your wish list, and every trailer is begging you to wish list, and it's hard to get a sense of how that actually translates to sales these days. But
I mean, it is pushing it, like making it so easily attainable or doable, I guess, makes sense, but at the same time, like it really
means
like for
less.
me, it means less because for me, I put things on my wish list when I just don't want them to slip out of my mind. I want to remember them.
Yeah, exactly.
But like if you're just doing it because it's like I thought it looked cool once and I really have I don't think I have really any intention of actually playing it. It's just like what the fuck does that even mean?
Well, it's just the amount of shit on Steam was just a lot different before, and now, like you said, it's like I feel like if I don't wishlist it now, I'm gonna forget about this game and I'll never see it ever again. And that wasn't
Do that.
really a problem before, right? It was-
No, not so much. Once
when Gunpoint came out, it was like, ooh, indie games are cool. Now it's like, ugh. Now
Gunpoint was
World
so
of Goo can't get more than 10 reviews. It's
Well, it's coming out against 18,000 other indie games coming out at the exact same time.
it is truly unfortunate. All right, I'm ready to go when y'all are.
I am officially recording. Let's close the stream.
I am also recording.
One
I
second.
I too am recording.
Let me.
Everybody in chat ready? Y'all ready to talk
Is that
about
a dirty
video
clothes
games?
hamper over there behind you?
Me? Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Grouse.
I was like, no one's ever gonna.
Are those
actually-
dirty jeans hanging over your couch?
No, that's actually a blanket. But there are dirty clothes. There are not. These are clean clothes. And I'm, God damn it! Why did he do that? Why did he do that to me? I fucking hate you, Brad,
That's-
so goddamn much. You do that at the end of the show. Why would you do that at the very beginning?
Fucking. Just come. Is that like there's like a squirt bottle, or is that some hand
you, I'm
soap? Well, what is that on your N64?
I'm not falling for it.
Is that
again,
hand
Brad.
soap? I mean, I'm
can s-
literally concerned about your
It's-
little pigsty over there. It's never like that.
Jesus Christ.
It's never like that. You're like Mr. Clean.
That's a blanket right there, by the way, sir. And that right here above my thumb is a spray bottle full of water and vinegar that we spray our cats with when they're being little bitches.
Oh, okay. Well, you have to. No, let's not overshare.
One of our cats is like a bully, and one of them is like just this super passive, like, I'm not going to fight back. I'm just going to let it happen, but I'm going to yell about it kind of personality. And so I guess one of our cats is going through like the terrible twos or whatever. So we occasionally have to like spray her to get her to stop sneak attacking the other cat, which is really annoying.
If I do that for my 2-year-old, is that a problem? Will they come
I don't-
for my kids?
Not
clear.
necessarily.
Put a little vinegar in there. Put a little
Let's-
vinegar in the water gun.
Just, I mean,
As long as you don't spray it on their face.
yeah.
Yeah. In fact, your child might be encouraged by that and do it more. Because
Would you like
dad's
to
having
give
fun
them
with
like
them.
like something like a salt and vinegar chip when they've never experienced anything like that before?
Yeah.
And Griffin will go, "Oh, gross, bad, no."
All right. I'm recording. We should probably get started since y'all are already recording. Chris Davis, you're recording too,
I
right?
am recording. In fact, I'm
All right, let's do it.
restarting my recording.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
I'm not.
that's fine. We'll figure it out. All right. Let's do a quick roll call, starting with Brad.
Yo.
Nolan.
Hey, this is Nolan, and I am doing a roll call for the podcast.
And Chris Davis.
Hello, this is Chris talking to the mic so Nick can sync everything up.
Thank you. Hey everyone, welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 805. It is August 6th, 2024. I'm your host, Nick Henderson, joined, as always, by Brad Simons,
Sup?
Nolan Hedstrom,
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
and Christopher Davis.
And good evening, everyone.
And it's been a weird, mostly bad week, I think, in the world of video games, right? I think that's maybe how it's been. I kind of wanted to start the conversation tonight with this to get it out of the way.
I want
'cause-
to start the conversation with how ritualistic it is, the little sip that Chris Davis does at the beginning. Is this like a holdover from his what was it, Drunk Cast days? What was that fucking show called? Cocktail Time.
Cocktail time?
Time?
Oh my god, forgetting names of our old of
It's
our
very
own legacy
very
shows.
ritualistic. I mean, you do it on every time, and it's like a thing, right?
Is it the sip or is it the way he says hello? That
It's
is-
both. It's both. The way
He
says
doesn't
it
say
and then the
hello.
sip.
He says good evening.
And
He
and
does.
and don't forget the smug fucking look when he does it. It's the triple threat.
I can't smile and say hello to the people.
Chris Davis.
Yeah,
Don't take the bait. This is the king of smug right here. Don't take the bait.
Yeah,
That is
it's a
factually
different-
true.
I mean, I'm more asshole than smug. That's a smug tone and smile when he takes that sip.
It's true. That
Like
is
like
true.
he has a fucking secret over there. I just want to know what's going on. What's in that fucking mug?
Well, here's the
coffee.
thing. Chris
Someone
Davis.
smell his breath.
Chris Davis doesn't keep secrets. Chris Davis is notoriously bad at keeping secrets.
Well, that's fucking true.
Yeah,
But-
I would agree with that.
Yeah, we don't. No offense, Chris Davis. We don't come to you in confidence because secret. That's where you are where secrets go to die sometimes.
Sometimes. Let's just be clear that sometimes. That's not all the time.
You are where spoilers go to die. Or no, video
That'd be-
game secrets go to die.
Touche. Touche. Anyways, what's up, guys? What's been up? Anything cool going on? No.
Well,
Chris
in any
Davis.
sector of the industry, no.
Yeah. No.
Pretty
We're
much
gonna
the
get there.
Dragon sucks. We don't have to speak more. Just
Wait,
it was a bad
wait.
season. It was a bad season finale. Let's move on.
Bad
Nothing
season
happened.
finales don't make
Build
the
up
whole
to
show
nothing.
bad.
It wasn't bad. Nothing happened. Build up to
Okay.
nothing.
There's a difference. There is a difference.
But that made it bad.
Sure. They also came out and announced that they have a roadmap to the end of the show, which is going to end with season 4. Which is interesting. I'm
Good
still
for
kind of reeling from last
Make
week.
better season finales.
I'm still kind of reeling from last week when Brad just sprung it on me that like this week was the finale. I thought there was 10 episodes and there were actually 8, and I was like, well, that's unexpected and
So
weird.
you know how well my comment last week was like, oh, it feels very rushed. I mean, I can't believe they're already doing, getting into it. And let me tell you, they just don't get into it. It wasn't rushed at all. It's just they're taking more time than I thought they were going to take.
So it sounds to me like in the moment while watching it, like watching the show week to week, it sucks. But when the show is all said and done, hopefully, and you're just like rewatching it later altogether, it won't fucking matter because there's the thing they're building up to still hasn't happened yet. So
Maybe
it's still going to
let's hope
happen.
it's going somewhere good. I just wanted a little bit of payoff after a whole season of build.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. We did get our first peek at The Last of Us season 2, which I was.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know why. I don't know why I wasn't expecting it because dropping a teaser like that with the season finale of House of the Dragon makes total sense. But yeah, they showed us like a brief 30-second teaser of The Last of Us season 2, which was really cool. Lots of shots that look like just straight up homages to the game.
Homages, just scenes from from
iconic scenes, yeah. And our first look at Catherine O'Hara as a new character, I imagine, which is pretty exciting. So I don't know, that kind of got me. I mean, I'm still like 4 episodes behind on House of the Dragon.
What kind of character? Wait.
So
who's Catherine O'Hara?
So Catherine O'Hara was cast a long time ago, but they don't say who she's playing. And a lot of people were theorizing before we knew anything about her character that she was going to play. If you remember when Abby goes to the island with the Seraphites, there's the woman that they're all praying to or whatever, that they worship, the cult leader, but you never meet her. Everyone kind of assumed it would be her. But in the trailer for season 2, you see Joel talking to her, which implies that she's back in Wyoming. So that's probably not the case, unless those. Maybe it's still the case. I don't fucking know. But
it just hit me who Catherine O'Hara is. She's the mother from
Kevin's
Beetlejuice
mom.
and Home Alone.
And Schitt's Creek, and yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't watched Schitt's Creek.
Others.
You haven't watched Schitt's Creek? It's pretty good.
No.
It's pretty good.
We stand.
Yeah.
Catherine O'Hara.
And we got like the tiniest look at Abby. The tiniest, you can literally see the shot of where the
It was literally just her head.
well,
Just
yeah,
her
yeah.
face.
Well,
Partially.
when she's being pushed underneath the fence that's being knocked over and she's crawling, which is straight out of the game. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. I'm pretty excited.
I don't see how they don't split the second game into at least 2 seasons.
Well, they've
They
already
are.
said they already said that.
They did?
Yeah, let's move on from this topic.
In fact, it could even be 3 seasons.
Oh,
but
probably.
that's neither here nor there.
California could easily be its own season.
But also, I
mean, it has at least 4.
This second season of The Last of Us is also shorter than the first. It's going to be like 7 episodes. So they have a plan. Who the fuck knows what's going on? But it looks great. It looks fucking great.
And then we saw show number 3 of the Game of Thrones franchise,
which Brad and Crispy were talking about a few weeks ago.
Was it Dunk and Egg?
Yeah. Well, they showed like a 4-second glimpse at that show.
Oh,
A Knight
Like,
of the
literally-
Seven Kingdoms, I think it was called.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the main character of that says his name in the trailer, which is, what is it, Duncan, or is that his name? I don't know.
We'll wait for Crispy to get back. I gotta watch this shit. I wanna watch it.
That little snippet that we talked to, the 4-second, is like just mixed in with the like coming in 2025 to HBO Max like montage thing. So
Okay.
say what that is what it is.
Duncan the Tall. An egg is an Aegon. I don't know if that was. Is that a spoiler? I don't know.
Probably. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
They're just short stories. Just read the short story.
Anyways, yeah, I know we're here to talk about video games, but I guess, we don't talk about news usually unless it's like a big deal, and I think some relatively big stuff has happened this week that's worth mentioning. First, we got hit with a pretty large series of layoffs at Bungie, right? I think it was like 150 people, maybe, or maybe do I have that number?
Yeah, it was like 250 people.
Yeah, pretty significant.
Which I was shocked to find out is only 17% of Bungie, which is way larger than I thought it was. I guess.
Yeah, I feel like
crazy.
every time they actually
how do
start,
they
like,
afford all those people?
Well, I mean, they are the creators of Halo, and Destiny has not been something.
I don't think Halo's paying the bills, but like Destiny, I know
anymore,
Destiny's big, but that's a very large company. Jesus.
Yeah, over 1,100 developers at its peak. This was a layoff of 220 people.
220 people, which is of course terrible. And there was also
some got canceled. Some project got canceled.
Well, here's the thing: there's been a lot of like wishy-washy in reporting, kind of back and forth on this, because a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, they canceled Destiny 3." But when you dig a little bit deeper, there was some reporting that the project that was canceled was never actually in full development, and they weren't even referring to it as Destiny 3 internally.
It was
just
a spin-off project called Payback. It was Destiny related. It was being headed by Luke Smith, and it got canceled last month.
And Luke Smith was one of the ones that was laid off, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
He wasn't officially laid off. They basically canceled his project and gave him a severance package and told him to leave before these layoffs.
Okay, well that sounds like a layoff to me, but yeah, I get
before
what you're
these
saying.
layoffs happened, is what I'm saying.
Right, but like those two things are definitely connected behind the scenes.
Yeah. And it wasn't him; it was other.
Wait, can I get a
senior
severance
Bungie
package
leadership.
at my job and still just keep going? Because I'll take one.
Would be nice.
So yeah, that's obviously terrible and unexpected, and
It's
who knows what
bad,
it means
yeah,
for the future
But like,
of Bungie.
but like the whole conversation of like, oh my God, they canceled Destiny 3. Destiny's the only reason Bungie exists. What are you talking about? I know
Also,
they're working on Marathon or whatever, but like, and I'm shocked to hear that wasn't the game that was canceled. But to say that to suggest that there's not going to be more Destiny is the most absurd thing I've ever heard. Even I'm shocked by the fact that there were 1,100 people, but even that, like, I still knew that Destiny was fucking enormous.
Yeah.
So, that's
Also,
crazy talk. Literal crazy talk.
The other part of this is that, and I think some people were talking about it in our own Discord, and I thought it was interesting. When you start to think about like the ripple effects of this decision as well, you got to think about the other role that Bungie has been serving internally at Sony, which is to be kind of like the arbiter of their like service games, right?
God.
And like going,
you know what?
Like people are sitting here talking about like, well, didn't they kind of? I mean, we don't have this like
Maybe they're bad arbiters.
confirmed. Well, what I'm saying is, and we don't have, this is not official. I'm not like saying this is definitely what happened, but like you got to kind of theorize, you got to connect some of these dots, right? And you're talking about like Sony canceled the Last of Us multiplayer game. I'm guessing with like some input from Bungie, and you got to think about like, are they suddenly like losing faith in Bungie? Is this a result of like, like,
and Twisted Metal? Don't forget Twisted Metal.
And Twisted Metal. I mean, I'm the Last of Us thing is not obviously the only one that was impacted by this. That's just obviously the most high profile one. I'm just saying, like, this has a ripple effect, and some people whose projects were maybe canceled or downsized or whatever because of input from Bungie are probably now getting, I would imagine, or maybe a little upset about the fact that like now Sony seems to be downplaying Bungie's significance internally.
Well, there's
I don't know who is making those decisions, right? Whether it's Bungie or Sony, or probably a combination of both. But like, it hurts so much to know that like Last of Us got canceled, or even Twisted Metal, and then Concord is the thing that survives. This is like, and like, by the way, like Dead on Arrival game. Like, there's the numbers for their
It came out?
No.
no.
But the numbers
Oh.
for their like public open beta that anybody can try for free were fucking tragic.
Yeah.
This thing is going to be DOA, and you know it sucks to know that, because somebody at the top said this one can live and this one can't. It reminds me of when they killed Scalebound, but Crackdown 3, we got to keep going with that one. And it's like, okay, whatever, dude.
I mean, it's this sounds, we've talked a lot in the past about, does this whole live service thing have legs at Sony? And a lot of people are thinking no, and there's been the change in leadership at Sony, and maybe they're starting to backpedal on it, and this just feels like another domino
Well, also,
that's falling. Like,
so in the wake of this, like there have been reports from now laid off Bungie devs who have come out and basically said that Sony overpaid for Bungie. Like Bungie projected
we knew that at that
themselves.
time.
Hang on. Bungie overprojected themselves to their sale for Sony for $4 billion $4 billion when they were operating in the red. And Bungie, ever since they went independent, there have always been reports of internal strife, inability to kind of coalesce around ideas for games. Like it's not necessarily
Also, they
surprising
sold
that
for
this
more
is
than
finally
Star
starting to come to a
Wars.
head.
It's
general internal turmoil. Yeah.
extremely overpaid for Bungie. What the fuck?
So I feel like this was, obviously it's terrible talking about layoffs. Like this is awful, but like part of me is like, I didn't know this was going to happen, but it's like some form of this was probably going to happen at some point, right? It just, I mean, also not to mention there's so many, we're going to talk about it in a second, but like the whole Game Informer thing, like this, a lot of this feels like a lot of shit is happening in this. It seems like strategically timed around the end of a quarter, maybe to look profitable. I don't fucking know what's going on. So I guess I'll go ahead and roll right
That's
into
just
the
shitty
next
business.
It is shitty business, but like it always ends up lining up in such a way that like, man, sometimes there are just like really terrible, awful, shitty fucking weeks. I mean, in any industry, but like we're here to talk about the gaming industry, so yeah, we see certain weeks where just like, holy shit, the wheels are coming off the bus.
Sure,
but it
but
is
you
what it
know,
is.
again, you also can't forget that like Helldivers 2 is like the best selling game of the year or some shit so far, or like up there, right? So it's a little bit of like, oh, Sony needs to get away from games as a service. Also, Helldivers 2, huge fucking success.
Well,
So
I think it's like,
it's
instead of putting all of their eggs in the live service basket, they're realizing we should maybe put a few strategic eggs in that basket. And
well,
then,
I mean, they were throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks, right? And
which is, I don't feel like it's
Concord
never,
ain't gonna stick, but you know,
which is
Yeah.
maybe a good way to like find a strategy and then pivot towards it, but like it's not a good full-time strategy. You know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah, definitely.
And I feel like we're coming back around on that now, and we're starting to see them kind of like settling and like, okay, this can stay, and that has to go. And obviously, when that happens, it's shitty for everybody involved.
Yeah.
If you're working for one of the studios or working on one of the games that doesn't happen to make the cut.
And to be fair, like their primary strategy is games as a service for the next decade-ish, probably. But they're still developing single player content. Like we got Astrobot this year. We know a Ghost of Tsushima sequel is in development. We know that
Right. But
they
like, you
just
also gotta
announced
remember,
today that Sony Santa Monica is working on a new IP.
But look, and I think we've kind of known about that for a while. But here's the thing: like after the change in leadership at Sony, there was a lot of rumors flying around that internal like conversation about the 10-year live service strategy was already starting to like lose its luster, and they were talking about potentially like re-strategizing, pivoting away from it, whatever. So who knows if maybe this is just kind of those chickens coming home to roost.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
But like, how many of those titles are so far along in the development that it just costs them money to cancel them rather than just release them?
I don't know, but like, it's a mixed bag because, like Brad said, there are things that are tremendously successful, and those are making it possible for them to make these, to us, seem like earth-shattering decisions, but they're being held up with super.
Y'all know I was going to be disappointed in Twisted Metal. I just wanted to see it. I wanted to like turn that into a rant.
You just wanted
people. Damn it! I don't
proof
get
of
to do that now.
Proof of life before they take it out to pasture, at least. Okay. The other thing, and I don't want to spend too much time talking about this because obviously, like I said, we don't like to talk too much about news. But like the other big thing that we just have to mention, obviously, is that suddenly, kind of out of the blue, GameStop closed Game Informer. They just shut down Game Informer, so suddenly that like a lot of people who were working at Game Informer found out on social media that they were suddenly out of a job, and it gets so much grosser than that because they issued a statement saying, you know, obviously we're closing and it sucks, and it felt very like maybe AI generated, I don't know, and then actual members of the team eventually got around to like, hey, we're posting our own actual like personal goodbyes and thank yous or whatever. They posted it on social media, and then like I don't remember how long it was, not very long, suddenly their whole Twitter account was just gone, and people who were working there couldn't even get into their workstations anymore to like take the work that they've been building over years so they can put it on their resumes and whatnot. It's gone.
Yeah, they locked up the entire website. The Twitter account is gone. Like, they have no access to anything they've been writing.
And the only question I have, maybe not the only question, but like the first thought I have is, this has got to be like one of the last dominoes to fall for GameStop, right? Like GameStop's entire business model for the past however many years, like since I started working there when I was in college, has been pushing Game Informer subscriptions. That's like one of their, outside of reservations on new game releases, that was it. In fact, I was being offered, I went in there, you know, a couple months ago to trade something in, and they were still pitching me on Game Informer subscriptions. It's just kind of like,
what did you trade in, by the way?
I knew you would ask me that.
Yeah,
I don't fucking know.
I mean, it was a Japanese game. Which one?
Well, as long as it wasn't Rise of the Ronin.
Oh man,
I mean,
no. Rise of the Ronin's still sitting right over there.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, he's just waiting to take that to GameStop.
I'm just waiting. Boy, yeah, I got to get in there before GameStop closes. But like
$2 for it.
But seriously, no, actually, I would say this: the last 2 times that I've traded stuff in, I was actually pretty shocked at how much money I got.
Wow, these Japanese games hold their value. This is
who'd have thunk it, man? Just go trade in all your Japanese games. That's how you get it. No, but seriously though, like, what is even like GameStop's? The writing's been on the wall for GameStop as a company for
I mean, what even is this?
Oh, yeah.
Whatever. They sell merchandise like toys and stuff. It's whatever. But like, I mean, you know, when I go in there, like, I mean, it's pretty rare. Like, maybe once every few months. You know, I'm walking around, and at least they have like cooler stuff than Funko Pops now. Sometimes I am like, oh, this Kirby end cap has some pretty cool shit on it. You know,
dude, I walked into the GameStop and I was like, they had like a little end cap there, and I was like, oh my god, there's like a bunch of Scream stuff on here. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
I'm like, what the fuck?
At least it's getting better in terms of that bullshit. I mean, you're not gonna find the game you want.
They're appealing. They know I'm here.
I've told y'all about my local GameStop, right?
No,
that like it's open from like noon to 7.
Yeah, I mean that's
it.
That's like they're all like that pretty much.
There's like one guy that works there, and that's it.
Yeah.
And when he goes on break, the store is closed. And the reason I know that is because I went one time when he was on break, and there's just a sign on the door that's like, "I'll be back later." And I was like, "Cool,
God,
thanks,
so
y'all are supposed to be
guys.
open." But
that's so depressing. It's oh man. But like
it's very sad too. As someone who like really doesn't like or care about GameStop as a company, like I still think that like the sale of like being able to sell and
being able to go to a physical
games,
space,
like is like huge, right? Like there are people who can't afford new games who like would depend on like really cheap games at these places to discover things that they would have never been able to try before, and then maybe become big fans later. And when they get a little bit more disposable income, like having a place to do that for your,
Right.
you know,
When
for your
GameStop
games.
finally closes, which seems like an inevitability at this point, when it finally does happen, like the mom and pop, like in like locally owned game stores are probably going to like, I mean, thrive. I would
Well,
imagine.
those are
because
already like terrible collector places. Like I honestly, they all are
kind of
not.
suck. But like the thought
These
of not
days, they all
having
kind
a,
of suck.
but even though I hate most of these places, like the thought of not being able to walk into a physical store to like shop for video games kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
I still have like such
I depend
fond
on
memories.
that. I still rent games. I get scared that GameFly is going to shut its doors. I don't know how they still exist, but whatever. You know, like I'm not like, if that stuff like that happens, like I'm just gonna have less games to talk about, y'all, or they're going to be a lot of cheap indie games like whatever the fuck Carlos is playing.
What I kind of wonder, like, what was it like for employees, like just like regular, part-time employees walking into GameStop the day after the Game Informer closure? Like, what that was their job, was to try and get as many subscriptions as possible. Like, what was even the top-down communication from the head of that company? Like,
or the people that worked at Game Informer.
Take all the Game Informers off the shelf. Stop talking about it.
It wasn't just a magazine they shut down. They shut down the site. Everything. Everyone got laid off. It's like that didn't need. It was still had a fucking. It was still like a pretty major outlet. That's actually crazy.
It is wild.
But I will say,
editors and writers.
There's already like some good Game Informer content. So MinMax is former Game Informer people, and like they're famous for like really good like interviews and like chronicling when like studios have layoffs, or like other like games media does layoffs. They're always like talking to those people, and now like Game Informer is like the big one for them, and they're probably going to have a bunch of like really good talks with Game Informer people. There's already like there's a video that went out yesterday that looking at the Game Informer office, and their vault, which is like crazy. They had so much like old game stuff that's like crazy to see, and it's a good video.
Also, I think maybe you were talking about this in Discord, Brad, but like, didn't you say something about BioWare had like Game Informer had full rights to like all of the pre-release like promotion and like
it's like
tutorials
their
and previews and stuff.
It's through
like,
Game Informer.
Wow.
For Dragon Age. So like,
BioWare could probably sue.
Which that supposedly got produced and printed, and those are supposedly going out. But like anything beyond that, like if you have a subscription to Game Informer, you have to go to their customer service and request a refund. They're not going to automatically cancel.
Oh, of course they won't.
Yeah. Anyways, that's our public service announcement. That's the news.
To be specific.
Well, that's not happening. Well,
Chipper Industry News. This is
yes, Chipper. Yeah, we'll call that. That's the news segment this week. Chipper Industry News. Anyways, let's talk about video games that we're actually playing and enjoying, because video games are cool and still fun despite all of that chipper headlines that we just talked about. But Brad,
where's the goo, Nick? Where's the goo?
Not in my library.
Yeah.
Well, actually, is it even on Steam?
For work, Brad?
It's not.
Can you not just goo yourself right here on the stream?
This is a Epic Game Store exclusive. Well, it's not exclusive.
Well, it's on Switch too.
It's on Switch and Epic Game Store, and the developers have said that this game would not exist without that Epic deal. So
yeah,
I don't know. Whatever, it is what it is. It'll come to Steam eventually, like everything else, right? It is kind of a bummer though, because I think because of that, it is flying very much under the radar, combined with the fact that maybe a World of Goo doesn't stand out in 2024, sadly, right? Like World of Goo came out in 2008. It was like, it's up there with like early indie games that kind of like blew up, and like honestly,
during the summer of arcade generation.
I mean, like it came out of an era where like like we were just saying, stuff like Castle Crashers, right? There was like a handful of big indie games that were, that was like the first time that people were sort of talking about indie games in the same breath as like everything else that we played, right? Like, we're at the end of the year, my favorite game is not necessarily the big game. It's this awesome indie game, and World of Goo was one of those. And I think the reason it's out on Switch too is not just because if you're an indie game, you should probably release on Switch, but that was a WiiWare game. I mean, I played it on WiiWare back in the day, and
did it launch on WiiWare?
Pointer, yeah,
it launched.
On the Wii. Yeah.
Damn.
WiiWare, and it was great on there because so like World of Goo is kind of like a mouse game, right? Like, but one of the things that the Wiimote was really good at was kind of like simulating a mouse, right, with the IR sensor. It's a little bit of a bummer that technology doesn't really exist with Nintendo anymore, and that the pointer that they have now is
inferior.
Wow, sorry.
Oh my god.
The best way to
just started.
Mask. Well, I should pull up the feed. The Twitch has a new app, and they just sort of fucking launch you into
That's
it
what
now.
I heard.
It's like, I used to be able to like click around a little bit before it started screaming at me, but whatever. Yeah. So it was. What the fuck was I saying? World of Goo 2 is out, and
that's what we were getting to eventually.
Yeah. Here's the crazy thing, right? So like the developer of World of Goo, the Tomorrow Corporation, or really it's 2D Boy, right? But the Tomorrow Corporation is sort of like the theming that they've have on all their games ever since World of Goo, like Little Inferno and the like 7 Billion Humans. You played the programming like games that they released. They released a couple of them, which I played all those. They're really cool games, and this is sort of the sequel to World of Goo. They're Castle Crashers too, if you will. Here's what's crazy. It's like immediately, oh yeah, World of Goo. Like this game could have come out in like 2009, a year after World of Goo, and it would still
make sense.
Like that's how much of a just this is another World of Goo that this is. Like you're not really. There's obviously new mechanics, and like
it didn't need to take 15 years, is what you're saying?
No, it doesn't feel like not just that it doesn't feel like a sequel that came out 15 years later. It's weirdly like it doesn't have. There are no settings in this game.
What?
There's no settings in this game. It has pretty much, it plays in terms of like its interface exactly like World of Goo, which is a little finicky, like famously finicky. The way you like move the screen around is by like clicking and dragging, which is the same thing that you click to grab a goo. And if you miss the goo, you're moving the screen now. You know what I mean? You can't really like zoom out. You could zoom out a little bit, but then it just zooms back in, right? Or like the rewind mechanic is clicking the flies in the environment, right? Like if you click on one of these little flies, it'll like rewind like a couple of moves, like before all your tower came crashing down, right? And it's all of the same, like the same in terms of like that user interface, that UI, like all of that is almost exactly the same as the previous game. But the thing is, indie games have sort of come a long way. They're filled with like tons of accessibility and shit. Even like hard as balls games like Nine Souls will like let you like tweak things to like make it just right. And immediately I was looking for settings so I can be like, well, surely there's a way to like maybe zoom out or like change the button to like, do this. And there's not even a settings menu. It's crazy. It
is a little unheard
of for an indie game. A sequel to what I consider like a pretty big indie game from back then, to have like none of that stuff.
Even games that like don't even really let you change any of the settings still have a settings menu.
Yeah, it's actually crazy. It's actually fucking crazy. And that's not to say that like, look, World of Goo is great. And if you like World of Goo as much as I do, you're gonna like this game as much as I do, which is a lot because I love World of Goo, and this is more World of Goo. Not in like a bad way. There's like tons of new mechanics. You know, they have like things that were certainly not in the first game. Like you see like some liquid physics and dynamics. There was no like liquid dynamics in the first game, but you know, it is a thing that has existed in a lot of like indie games or even mobile games, you know, since World of Goo. Like it's been 16 years. And that's not to say that like this doesn't like mean as much anymore. It's just to say that
It's a little disappointing that they didn't shoot a little bit farther or higher,
well, not
I guess, or
but see, I don't even feel like that because there is enough like new cool mechanics and stuff in there. But in terms of like you know the stuff I've been saying, like they could have made it like much more user friendly. You know, they could have like added some settings to modernize it in ways that like it's like absolutely, you know, not modernized. And it's a little bit of a bummer because not because it takes away from the World of Goo experience, but but the people who maybe like struggled with it back then, um, like don't play World of Goo 2 if you don't like World of Goo 1. Like if World of Goo 1 frustrated you with you know, it's like wonky physics or the fact that you had to like, you know, your tower is falling and you're like, oh my god, I got to click a fly and you're like missing it and dragging the thing around and you're like, I really need to click that fly. Like they haven't like
fix any of
made that friendlier in the past 16 years. You know, it reminds me a lot of like Dragon's Dogma 2 a little bit, where like the developers like, look, we're gonna make another Dragon's Dogma, and trust me when I say this is gonna be another Dragon's Dogma game. Meaning, if you got frustrated with how like kind of janky that game was and how like user unfriendly it can be by design, we're still gonna be like that. But this seems a little less intentional. Like it seems like they could have done a little more with that stuff. But the actual game is great. But here's what's great about World of Goo. It's like a cool, fun, physicsy like platformer / bridge builder kind of thing, tower builder thing. That where you know you have moments of triumph and you have moments of. Don't think of Elefunk, please. Think of World of Goo. Elefunk was an okay,
so good.
Elefunk bridge builder.
So good.
No, this is World of Goo. How dare you? This is up there with, in my opinion, some of the best indie games ever made. And
like Elefunk.
I'm trying to explain why World of Goo is good and why it's still good, Nick. It's a fun,
still good,
physicsy, wonky physicsy platformer, and there's with moments of triumph, but also moments of like utter disaster, and that's part of its charm, right? But it also has like a weirdly like mind-blowing soundtrack, just like the first game. It's like this game is like,
is the music at least new, or is it?
Yeah, well, yeah. There's lots of new music. There's lots of remixes of like old World of Goo themes, which are like fucking powerful and amazing because I think that soundtrack was really great. And you know, when those show up and when they hit, man, they hit hard. It's great. But it's you know, and it's like weirdly atmospheric and like they're doing like the story is like so. I mean, it's sort of the tone of all other games where it's like this like, you know, it's like a satire of like capitalism and like environmentalism. I mean, it's all, but then, you know, it's got these cool, I don't know, do I get to any cutscenes in this? Or we just saw
there was a cutscene. Yeah, there was a cutscene.
Yeah, it's still that sort of look and that sort of vibe with like this, you know, vaguely Danny Elfman music, but it goes hard, man. And it goes it back then it was shocking because, you know, there wasn't a lot of indie games that went hard with like stuff like story or atmosphere or like even the soundtrack, right? There was cool, like it felt big back then. Now it's great in the same ways, but you know, we're also living in a post like Outer Wilds, Disco Elysium world. Is this gonna hit?
Indie games have become much more substantial.
Sure,
I mean, they've just done so much since this game.
But World of Goo still feels like, unlike a lot of any other indie game you're going to play in 2024. Maybe not like, maybe there's like a mobile games that have this sort of like energy, but not like you're not getting this from like other prestige indie games. So like it feels unique, right? Unless you play a lot of Where's Your Water? Is that what that game's called? Or Cut the Rope? I'm just saying, like, it's weird that there's been more influence. World of Goo has influenced mobile games more than it has like regular indie games, and not even like modern mobile games, but like the mobile games that came out like the half decade after World of Goo, right?
Yeah.
It's weird like that, but like this is the kind of shit that you put on your phone and it's like, oh, shit's actually really fun. If it wasn't ruined by some awful free to play, try to milk you for stuff nonsense,
Milk
this shit would be
you.
dope. But yeah, it's still really fun because it's fun and physicsy, and here's the thing about the first World of Goo, and I've had Crispy, um, not that recently, but he did play some World of Goo years ago, and he got through like the first couple of chapters and was like, okay, it's cool and it's fun, but I don't see like why you love it so much necessarily. But the thing is, he didn't finish it, and like World of Goo goes some like crazy weird places, and from what I've heard, this game is going to go some crazy weird places. What you've seen on the footage is like from the first two chapters, and it is very World of Goo, but I've already seen some hints that it's going to get wild and weird, and from what I hear is it's not going to let me down in that department. And I don't even want to spoil it. I mean, really, if I was spoiling, I would just be spoiling where the first game goes. But I almost kind of don't want to do that because people who might be trying
Because you're
this
still holding
one,
out that some of us here who haven't played it will eventually play
well,
it.
I mean, I don't fucking know, dude. Probably not if it's just on Epic Game Store. But once this shit hits fucking, I'm sure this game would be great on a Steam Deck. If you're playing on Switch, probably the best way to play is with the touchscreen in handheld mode. I probably wouldn't recommend using the pointer because it's gyro control, and that kind of sucks. It's just not the same as like the AR pointer was back then, the IR pointer. But it's probably good with touch controls. It's not as precise because even though it has like it has a capacitive touchscreen on the Switch or whatever, it's not like if you this would be like a stylus game if you were to like play it with a touchscreen in its most ideal form, probably, right? But stylus games don't really exist anymore.
Yeah, every time someone says something like, "Oh, you should play this with this," on the Switch with a touchscreen, I'm like, I always forget that the Switch is even a touchscreen because it doesn't have a stylus.
But it's still just a really good, fun physicsy platformer. Even if you don't care about like the soundtrack and like the atmosphere and the story as much as I do, it's fun to build shit, and it's fun when shit goes wrong, and it's fun when it goes right. And there are cool new mechanics. Like there's a level, we're about to end this discussion here, but I think I'm about to click on it. Maybe not. I don't know. There's a level that I played more recently, and I'm still in chapter 3 out of 5 chapters. That's like completely pitch black. And like your goos are like little black balls, and like you can't see shit, but you have like 3 light goos, and that's kind of like how you see in the dark. But like you're building these physicsy like connectors and bridges, just trying to progress through the stage, but you have to like keep your light goos kind of out in front to sort of see where you're going, but you can't use them to like build because that sort of locks them in place. You have to keep them in places off to the side as you're building, because if you build around them, then when you try to move them to another place in the construction, like
it'll
shit's
fall
gonna
apart.
fall apart. So it's like it's like this weird. Oh, here's the level. It's like this weird like juggling thing that is actually like it. Again, nothing like this in the first game. It's just a really cool, neat physicsy puzzle game with like neat ideas, and I haven't even like discussed half of them, but like there's enough new stuff in base mechanics to like impress as a sequel. It's just a lot of like the weird user experience problems that are a little disappointing to me. But I gotta finish it because again, it's gonna go places, and I'm not there yet. I'm getting there, but I'm not there yet. And
Do you think the world is ready for Elefunk 2?
Would you shut the fuck up, Nick? Elefunk. Well, you probably played like a demo of that shit back in the day.
No, I have the full game. I had it on my PS3. I don't know if I even
Was it a PS3 game?
Yeah. It was.
All right,
It was
you have to
for the
stream-
longest time. For the longest
You
time, my
probably played
PS3.
2 levels of Elefunk.
No, you're probably right, but I had Elefunk and Flower, and there was one other game. Oh, and what's the princess? The cake game.
Fat Princess.
Fat Princess?
How dare you, Nick? This was like my game of the year until I played Valkyria Chronicles that year. You're talking about Fat Princess. You probably played like 10 minutes of that shit. How dare you?
I mean, I'm not gonna just. You're
highly
probably
recommend.
right.
I do really recommend World of Goo.
Okay.
The first one, if you don't want to spend the $25 or whatever this one is, you could probably get the first one for like nothing. And if you like that, and the reason I'm not immediately recommending this one over that one is because it doesn't feel like any more modern than the original. Like there's no reason to skip the original and play this one because, like I said, this could have come out a year later. Like that's how this feels. It's crazy. Wow. So yeah, I recommend the World of Goo universe.
All right, there we go. Easy recommendation. So Chris Davis, I didn't know if you actually wanted to talk about this, but I put an overlay in there. Did you want to talk about? We talked a little bit about Earth Defense Force 6 last night, but you have since played a bunch more of it.
Yeah, I have actually made significant progress.
You're on level 500.
Finding attractive art of this game is, let me just say,
it's not
easy.
not meant to be attractive.
I know, but you would think there'd at least be some like key art out there that's like
rude. That's like some shit that Nick would say in January to a poor Prince of Persia game.
dude, making because I always make little thumbnails to like promote the podcast, and I find like art of whatever games we're gonna be talking about that night or whatever, and I was like Google image searching World of Goo 2 and Earth Defense
we got a
6,
Flash game, a PS2 game, but I don't got much to work with here.
It did not have much to work with. No.
To be fair, this is easily an early PS3 game, Brad.
Okay.
Be a little bit nicer than that.
But hey, I mean, again, Earth Defense Force, that's never been what it's about.
No, it's about the scale. It's about giving you tons of weapons and options to go over through.
Ooh, that's cool.
Hundreds, 200 levels, and just fight absurd amounts of enemies. Like
right,
when the game decides that I'm going to have you fight 300 enemies, it's going to just drop them in all at once, and the frame rate's going to suffer, and you're going to be like, "Holy shit! How is this? Yeah. How is this game not crashed yet?" And yet it just runs and it works.
It's the power of the PlayStation 5, baby.
Yeah.
Wait,
I'm glad that the pickups are no longer 2D images.
Oh yeah, that's way back. That was even for Earth Defense Force 3, man. Like they haven't done that in a long time.
Yeah, straight, Brad.
This is one of those games in which you can turn off your brain and have a lot of fun, and every time you play a level, it can be a fresh experience with your character because you are getting weapons and you've got such a variety of items to get that you're never going to run out of new things to experience. Like I'm playing as one of the 4 classes, the Air Raider, in this footage. And the whole gimmick with the Air Raider in this series is that they're the support class. They're not meant to necessarily be on the front lines, but they can call in like heavy.
Ooh, you're calling like artillery and shit?
Oh yeah, I'm calling in like a blast of lasers from satellites to just go after these flying. They call them tadpoles, but they're just basically flying frogs. And of course, there's dozens and dozens of them in every level, and it's entertaining as hell. Again, you get such powerful fucking weapons that are all about spectacle that you just want to load them up just to see what they do. There are some weapons later in EDF games that basically kill everything within a third of the map, and it's hilarious. These games are fun.
It's very Dynasty Warriors with big ants. It's just Dynasty Warriors with big ants.
Big ants and spiders and frogs and
don't
all
forget
sorts
frogs.
of stuff.
Bruce
The
the Wizard
biggest
says,
pain
"I don't know,
point,
dude. This
though-
looks like it's from a disc in my cereal box."
you know, or like the fake video game on a TV show, like a prestige television show.
Yeah,
That's
but
I will
unlike
say-
those, this game actually delivers.
The true pain point, which I feel like Chris never talks about, and you're never going to see in like 10 minutes of footage, is that you don't play a level for 10 minutes. You play it for like a fucking hour. There's like 200 levels and they just never end. They just on and on and on and on. And it's cool. And it's fun to use those weapons. But when it's like, you've been in a level for a half hour plus, it's like, okay, I get it. This level probably didn't need to be this long.
Oh yeah,
Is that
no,
still an
there's.
issue with this series?
I mean, the series, yeah, it has plenty of levels in it that are designed to fucking challenge you and take forever. Like level 35 is like this big climactic
Challenge
moment.
is not what I come to Earth Defense Force for.
Yeah, well, they
what you
offer
get.
that. That's what you get. But like, it's the difficulty balance between levels can be striking in how much you can vary. But at the same time, that also encourages you to try out different builds, try out different weapons,
You're playing this
figure out new things.
co-op, right? You're playing this with friends.
I'm playing this
right?
co-op, and one of the nicest.
That probably helps. Yeah.
I mean, definitely, yeah, it helps. But one of the nicest quality of life things that they didn't have before is that there's now cross progression between whether you're playing online or offline. So
That's
you
nice of
now,
them.
I mean, that seems like it should be a basic concept, right? But not.
It sure does.
Yeah. But that helps so much when you just kind of want to jump into a level and just kind of have fun.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Because, again, I said earlier I was doing Google image searches, right? So I just type in Earth Defense Force 6, right? And then all the images come up. All the images that come up, first of all, 98, 99% of them, all screenshots of the game. All of them look like the level you are in this footage.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And Brad just said there's something stupid like 100 levels plus, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't
200.
Nick?
There are 4 biomes in this game. There used to be 3. There's now 4.
Okay.
There's Big Earth City. There's Destroyed
Which is the
Earth
highlight.
City.
Trust me, it gets worse.
There's mountain terrain, and then there's underground tunnels, and that's
Okay,
it.
Underground tunnels are shit. No one loves. He specifically did not record footage of the underground
I
tunnels.
mean,
by
they're
them.
all dark, and they're fucking tunnels, and it's always fucking ants or spiders down there. So like, it's just a horde of them rushing at you through a tunnel.
for
Bruce, he
45
says-
minutes.
Big city, little city, destroyed big city, destroyed little city.
For
Yeah.
45 minutes, and then on to level 117.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then like,
It's crazy.
but then you move on, and the next level they give you a fucking mech, and now you're fighting a Godzilla knockoff. You're getting Rock'em Sock'em robots just brawling with them. You
See,
know,
that's cool. It's at least it's like at that point, who gives a shit about the biome, right? It's just about, okay, what else can you give me to cause mass destruction? And that's
then the next level you're fighting a bunch of 10-story tall frogs with assault rifles that when you blow off their limbs, they'll eventually
Whoa,
grow
whoa.
back if you don't kill them fast enough.
the frogs have the assault rifles, or you
Yes.
are shooting them with assault. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
there's a variety of enemies in here. They've added new ones that are all about like they call them androids, and they're basically like dumbass like brains in a shell with like Inspector Gadget arms that kind of just flail all the time.
I don't know why my brain just immediately went to Mars attacks when you said that.
I mean,
Maybe I'm-
not far off actually. They don't have eyes, but like they've got a big ass brain.
Can you still blow up the buildings? I feel like I'm not seeing
Oh
buildings
yeah,
explode.
I'm blowing.
Oh,
Look
Oh,
right
there we
here.
go, there we
like
go,
just
there we go.
he's bringing down bridges and shit and highways.
like that's another great thing about EDF
I mean,
is
the
that
destruction doesn't look very good.
it
but it
doesn't
does
look
happen.
good, but like think about the fact that they had this environmental destruction back in like 2007. And
Yeah.
it may not have improved
Even
that
look,
much,
okay.
but the fact
Red
that
Faction
it works.
1
Red
came out in
Faction
like
Guerrilla.
2000. Okay,
Yeah,
like
Red Faction
But
had
it-
plenty.
I'm not. No,
It
I'm
wasn't
not
that
talking about it
impressive back
being
in
revolutionary.
2007.
I'm talking about it being like from this developer, like somebody other than Volition doing this tech.
I'm still
Sure.
thinking about like Battlefield Bad
Also,
Company. I was like,
Mercenaries, Playground of Destruction.
Yeah.
That came out before. I don't know.
Mercenaries was great. Well, Mercenaries 1 was great. Mercenaries 2, I no. But
okay.
But this game is
Also,
so much fun. You got so much variety in the different classes.
This game technically didn't come out this year, right? It came out overseas like last year, and it's being ported to the West.
It came out in Japan last year. They waited a year to translate and port it.
Translated.
Yeah,
What were they
translate's a strong
translating?
word. Yeah.
I want to know what's being translated here. I want to know what they felt was worth translating.
Oh, Nick, it's C-level dialogue, if that. That might be a generous, but like you're not here for the fucking dialogue
I've played games with C-level dialogue that was worth playing. I
mean, I'm certain that they had a budget of probably $300-$400 for voice acting and getting everything set up, but you're not here for that because you don't have time to actually process what they're saying and what's going on. All you know is that there's 300,000 ants that are charging at you that are 2 stories tall, and you got to kill them.
I'll give them
They're
points.
getting 300,000 of anything on this. They're not getting 300,000 polygons on screen in this game. Don't say 300,000 ants. Come on.
Yeah. But like
You like
class,
50 on screen.
I think you meant total, not at once.
I mean, yeah, but it's surely there is a quota by which the game just says, no, I cannot spawn anything more. But I have not encountered such a thing in this game just yet.
Well, I'm glad you're having fun with it. That's all that matters, I suppose. At the end of the day.
Honestly is a fun time.
This would be a game that I would love to come to Game Pass or something.
I think this would be a really good Game Pass game. Yeah.
Is this on PC?
Yeah, this is PC.
Yeah, everything comes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a demanding game. At
Well,
all.
I went and looked for World of Goo 2 and found that it wasn't on Steam. So
All right, Zerby, you just open a different store.
I do have the Epic Game Store installed on my PC, but I haven't opened it in like 2 years.
You know what? I sort of thought about this, and it's like, people make a stink, and I get it, right? Like, oh, I want all my games in one place. But I thought back, literally 2 of my game of the years in the past 5 years, I played on the Epic Game Store. Chicory and Outer Wilds, I played from the Epic Game Store, and they still became my game of the year.
Well,
nothing made that experience such that it couldn't be my favorite game of the whole year.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the actual the storefront in which you purchase said game has no impact on whether the game is good or not. It's just a frustrating
Well,
thing.
you say that. So the big controversy at launch with this game was that, and they did not advertise this ahead of time, is that you can buy this on Steam or any other platform, but at least on PC, there is a Epic Game Store login requirement. It is one time at the very beginning of the game, and that's it. You never have to log in or create an account ever again. But
That's interesting. So
people
they
lost
sell it on
their
Steam and
fucking
it's
shit when they
published
learned
there?
that, and that's why it just got review bombed all to hell. And even then,
Oh, yeah.
the next day, Sandlot came out and said, okay, we acknowledge this. We are going to figure this out. It's going to take us time. So,
Maybe they should just stop doing that. But whatever, that's neither here nor there.
I mean, they
That's a
probably
rabbit
got
hole we're
funding
not gonna
from
go down.
Epic. So,
I know, but whenever anybody does shit like this, nobody's happy. There's always backlash, and it's just like they act surprised every time that people are upset about it, and it's just like maybe just stop doing it then. Like find another incentive, like find another thing that you can do with your platform other than that. I don't know. Anyways, Earth Defense Force 6.
fun game. Fun game.
Frogs.
I like how Winged in chat suggests like an interesting design addition that they could add to this series that hasn't changed literally in like 2 decades. It's like they're not trying to make it more complex. It's very much like Dynasty Warriors.
Yes.
You know what it is. You know if you like it or you don't, and if you're one of those people, you're going to be very happy.
Yeah.
You don't come to Earth Defense Force expecting a Mona Lisa level experience.
Innovation.
You should at most you should be expecting like macaroni art, but It's fun, good macaroni art.
That Earth Defense Force, the macaroni art of video games, I actually love that. I feel like that should be a box quote, actually. Okay. Shifting gears, Brad, you had another game you wanted to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
we've now featured on Trailer Talk many times, but now we're actually playing it.
I like to feature on Trailer Talk because it's so like immediately like fun, you know.
And it's got Matt Berry.
Bright, colorful game, and it's very funny, and it's like very well produced. It's like if
I'm
Untitled
just
Goose
surprised
Game
you
was
finally remembered the
actually
name
funny.
of this game.
Yeah,
I think
it's definitely a name that's like hard. Like I'm always thinking of like I think you should leave. I mean, it's a title that's hard to remember. Thank goodness you're here. Crispy actually purchased it on Steam, and I played his copy. I know he was excited. To play
Thanks,
this.
Crispy.
But
wait, is that the menu?
That is.
The title menu is like an actual photograph of like an alleyway.
Oh yeah, this one is vibes, very British vibes. But it is like so well produced, like the performances, and it's so good. It's so good, and it's just like a handful of dudes.
What
doing
is she petting
for all of these characters? And so and it's so if Untitled Goose Game was actually more than just a dumb meme and was actually funny, that's kind of what the vibe of this game is. All you can do is slap things. That's like your only interaction, but like you're just there to like see what the funny British people say. So you're just slapping them to like activate their little
like,
line.
Dance monkey.
Is this what? Yeah, it is. It's not really like a puzzle game. Like so there are like people who are like, oh, thank goodness you're here, and you're trying to like like complete their little objective, but it's so like absurdist that really
you're just there for the lulls.
This game is fucking bizarre and absurd. And
can you back up for 1 second? I asked you a question right when you started showing this footage because there was a woman sitting on a park bench, stroking or petting what looked like a very long
sausage. Was
it a sausage? Okay.
Oh, there's a ton of that in this game, evidently.
I just wanted to know what it was.
Oh yeah, like this game is so. Look, we've shown a lot of trailers, and I think it's because I wanted people to check
We're
this
spreading
game
the
out.
good word of
it's absolutely fucking bonkers and absurdist, and like you'll randomly be in like, oh, I guess I'm really tiny now. I don't know. It's all in service of comedy, I suppose. Like the game has no like logical sense to it. It's all just trying to be silly and absurd and funny. But again, like so well produced and well acted, like it's crazy, this thing. And it's only probably like a few hours long, and you're wandering around these environments. I mean, sometimes you're like, well, what am I supposed to be doing here? I guess I'll keep going in this direction. And I found myself, the more I played this game, the more I'm like funneling back into areas that I've been before. And I'm like, am I supposed to be here? But you sort of realize like, oh yeah, the game wants me to come back here because there's all kinds of like, there's new characters, or the characters are doing something different, or like there's like a new like bit that they've set up by returning back to this location. So it's like this you're wandering around, but it's like, I guess it's somewhat linear in terms of like where the game is funneling you to. And it's just so fucking delightful and so absurd and silly. And like you see these bits forming that like when I'm going back through like an area and I'm like, okay, I see what they're doing here. Like where like I come down a chimney and I like ruin this, like I get soot all over this guy's house. And as soon as I end up back at this chimney, I'm like, oh, I'm going to fuck up this dude's house again. And like, sure enough, I go down there and he's like, I've cleaned it all up. And, I've completely fucked it up. He's like, he says something British at me or whatever. And I know I'm going to like be back there probably 2 more times because that's the bit. Like there's this one pipe that like you squeeze through and like to go to like one area. And like the first time I did it, like you see like the bump in the carpet on the house above, that's sitting on this pipe in the ground. And like, there's like a little like china cabinet with like a little like plate of like Princess Diana on it. And like the first time I went through, it like bumped it a little bit. And then I went through again. And I was like, oh, it bumped a little again to the right. Okay, eventually something's going to happen. There's like a bit forming with this stupid fucking Princess Diana plate. And I'm excited to see like what stupid joke is actually going to happen. Yeah. And I noticed that more and more as I return to areas like, oh, this game is setting up some long form jokes as opposed to just like the crazy ass one-liners and jokes that are happening like all over the place. How much delightful British ass thing to wander around. And like you have to hear it.
Matt Berry in this game?
He plays like a gardener, and I've definitely seen him quite a bit.
Okay, so he's not like the main character.
There's no like main character. There's just all these townspeople, and they're reoccurring, and like again, these bits continue, and they're in new scenarios, and like it just keeps surprising me. Like it keeps getting funnier as it builds to like new bits and stuff. Like, you know, you don't even realize things are bits until until they happen, and you're like, okay,
the bits sneak up on you.
Yeah, and it's absurd. Like I go to I'm walking down an alley, and there's like a fence, and I see an eye peeking through a hole, and some dude's like, hey. And you got to imagine I'm doing like some obscenely crazy British accent. Like the British accents are fucking absurd in this game. He's like, hey, you want to see my sausage? And I'm like, oh, where's this going? And this game can be quite crude and lewd and insane. And I'm like, oh, and then he sticks like an actual like sausage link through it. And then it like just falls through the hole. And I'm like, okay. He just meant a sausage link. He's like, hey, you want to see another sausage? And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I know this trap. But then he just puts another little link sausage through, and he drops it, and he's like, oh shit, I didn't mean to drop it.
The bit is like waiting for the real penis to come through.
And he's like, hold on, I'll be back. I gotta get some more sausages. And then that was it. He didn't come back, but I know eventually I'm probably gonna go past that hole again, and it's gonna keep building on that stupid fucking joke. And I don't know where it's gonna go, but it's already fucking
penis,
funny.
Brad. It's eventually building to a penis.
And again, I feel like like Nolan, obviously. You would enjoy this game. Crispy knew immediately he would enjoy this game. I don't think you're gonna like it, Nick. I don't know what the fuck Chris Davis likes, but like,
well, considering Untitled Goose Game made my
watch
top
a trailer.
Not only did Chris Davis put Untitled Goose Game on his top 10, he put it high enough on his top 10 that it found its way into our overall Game of the Year, site-wide Game of the Year.
I know, but it's not like mechanically. That's why. I mean,
I know it's just
also
hilarious.
like it's big Devolver Digital, highly publicized or promoted like fucking meme game. Everybody played fucking Untitled Goose Game, and it's not like you played that for the mechanics. You played it because geese are mean. It had a silly name, and it actually looked kind of nice. And geese are funny; they go honk. This is like a more explicit. Like you play this for the comedy writing, the comedy performances, and how fucking British it is. It's insane. You know, Monty Python, but like even more absurd. British people love it, dude. Like, look at the reviews from like all the British outlets. They give it like fucking 10 out of 10s. Like, finally, a game about us,
a game that understands us. I love it.
It's absurd. Yeah.
This is one of those games that I would happily like at least try if it's in somebody's library.
There's a demo. I tried to get people to play the demo.
Oh, maybe I'll play the demo. Maybe I'll do that. Okay. I hate to do this. Is there anything else we want to like? Nolan, I know you said you didn't really have anything new. Did you have anything you wanted to?
I don't have anything new. Nothing new to bring up. I mean, like I was saying the other week, I kind of got myself back into some older Pokemon games on the DS, mainly just because I know eventually they're going to shut down the system that allows you to transfer them to the newer games, and I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anything, because it's one of those things where it's like you hear about like special events they do that will eventually like kind of like lock certain, or like they'll give you a free Pokemon if you participate during this event, and it's like, they'll bring it back, right? And it's been like 8 years and it's never been brought back again, and I'm like, fuck, I like kind of missed out on something. And so I'm trying to kind of make sure I don't miss out on anything else. So anyways, that's kind of what I've been doing in some of my spare time. So
can I ask you something quick, Pokemon related, quick question?
Yeah.
What is your favorite Pokemon that sucks, but you just love him so much, so you always have him on your team? He's probably not. If you had a Charizard, you'd probably be doing a little bit better, but You just love your fucking
Mr. Mime or
whatever the
something.
fuck. Yeah, you gotta
That's-
have one.
That's tough.
I feel like I don't know. My brain immediately goes like, I'm only working like the first 150 too, so like there's probably way more. Like
But there's a lot more than 152.
coughing or
Man, that is tough, Brad. I would, man, I don't know. I would have to look at a list because the problem is it depends on the generation. Because depending on the generation you're playing, you know, not every game has every Pokemon in it, and so it's not
Yeah.
like I can always have this specific one with me.
Sure.
But
But the one that isn't quite cut, because I do that with like all my, I'm always playing like these strategy games with all the different ladies, and there's like a lady who like, okay, this lady kind of sucks, but I'm gonna give her all my like stat boosting items to like bring her up to snuff, and I know that's not very like min maxy, but I like this character,
Yeah.
people in chat have a few answers to this question. Winged says Butterfree after the Butterfree episode on the TV show. King Carey says Ditto. Slade
Wait,
says,
does he mean Butterfree again, or does he mean the Pokemon Ditto?
No.
Son of a bitch.
Slade says Chimchar. I don't know what Chimchar is.
What's it? Chimchar's the starter from Gen 4.
Is it like a fire monkey?
He turns into the Smash Brothers character, right? Isn't he in Smash? Or no, there's Infernape.
Infernape is what Chimchar turns into.
Yeah. Who am I thinking of? The wrestling cat. That was the one that.
American says Maweel or.
Litten turns into not Litten, Brad. Oh yeah, you're right, Litten. That turns into Incineroar.
That was the one in Smash.
Yeah,
Incineroar
that's
and
the
Infernape,
wrestling
I get
one.
them
Yeah.
confused.
So I don't know. Once again, there's over 1,000, so I'm having to draw from 1,000 real quick. And so it's hard to think of them off the top of my head. I mean, lately because I've been playing Gen 7, which is the one that introduced the Ultra Beast, I really like Kartana, which is the origami Pokemon.
That sounds
What do her
cool.
feet look like?
Jesus,
They're
Brad.
paper, Brad, and I don't. Yeah, I don't know if it has gender. I don't know if any of the.
I feel like there were so many layers to that joke that you just made.
Oh,
Sorry.
Kartana does look cool.
Dude, Kartana's fucking awesome. It's like I said, it's like a little origami samurai with fucking swords. And so I really like Kartana.
Does that start with a K or a C?
A K.
It's K, right?
Kartana. It's like Katana, but Kartana.
Gotcha.
I like so like I said, Gen 7 introduced the Ultra Beast, and I really like Guzzlord, mainly just because like it was.
I'm sorry, what?
Guzzlord.
That's what they called me in college.
Filthy minds. Filthy.
But because there was an event not too long ago in Pokemon Go where they had the Ultra Beast, and so Guzzlord would be around. And when Bernadette and I were out and about playing Pokemon, whenever Guzzlord came up, I would always just be like, Guzz.
Guzzlord looks like a final boss, not a regular ass Pokemon.
Well, he's an Ultra Beast. All the Ultra Beasts are pretty
elaborate,
pretty interesting. Guzzlord versus Muck Go. You know the funny thing about Zero Skies. The funny thing about Muck. Did you know that Muck backwards is race car? But yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't know if I have any like kind of just regular Joe Schmo Pokemon. I like how Lucha. He's like the luchador bird. He's pretty cool.
For sure.
So I don't know. It's tough. And to Nick's point, I definitely have a soft spot in my heart for the first 150. Obviously, for all of us, that's kind of where it all started, and that was a huge part of our childhood.
And I never left it.
Yeah, so they'll always kind of be, a part of me. But yeah, there's still a lot of cool new ones. I do like if we're talking about original 150, I like Gallade a lot. He's from Ralts. He's like the fighting version. The male can turn into the Gallade, and female goes to a Gardevoir. I like Gallade a lot. He's pretty cool.
Brian David Gilbert loves Tangela, of course.
Mm-hmm.
He does. He loves Terry the Tangela. He does for sure. Yeah.
This is random, and I don't know. I don't really play Pokemon anymore, I guess. But like, if I had to like go back to the 150 and pick one that fits Brad's criteria here, I've always had a soft spot for Mr. Mime. I don't remember if he was any good or not, but whenever I had one, I was always like,
freak.
yeah. I guess.
He
Anyways,
wasn't great. He was okay.
No, we
yeah,
despise Mr. Mime. You're on your island alone, Nick.
everyone says I'm on a list. I'm on a government list for picking
Well, yeah,
Mr.
he
Mime.
is a little
Literally,
creepy.
they make a
I mean,
joke in the Pokemon
he
movie.
does fuck Ash's mom.
Oh, yeah,
but
100%.
But yeah, but there's the whole thing. Well, Nick, there's not just Mr. Mime anymore because it's expanded because there's now Mime Junior, and then in Galar with Sword and Shield they introduced Galarian Mr. Mime and Mr. Rhyme. So there's definitely more to it.
People in chat are
Pokemon's-
talking about Mr. Mime and Ash's mom. Is this a literal thing that I missed?
Dude, yes! In the anime series, Ash's dad is who the fuck knows, and he gets a Mr. Mime, and the Mr. Mime moves in with his mom, and they're like fucking going on dates and shit, and he's like got his armor, and she's like, "Oh, Mr. Mime, what would I do without you?" And like,
Holy
they're fucking-
shit.
Anal.
That's what she would do with him, Brad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got the
Well, I mean,
question wrong.
In Pallet Town,
Oh.
like it's either Mr. Mime or Professor Oak, and like
All signs
Deal.
point to Mr. Mime right now.
yeah.
Yep. Oh no, yeah, for sure.
Okay, wonderful. I didn't expect that to go there. Anyways, that's what she said.
I don't know. I heard the reason they call him Professor Oak is all right. Let's move on.
All right. Well, just real quick mention from me this week because all I've played this week has been Conscript and more Shadow of the Erdtree, which we've talked about in the past. I will just say I finished Conscript last night, and what I can say about that is that game is fucking terrific, and it does so many neat things with the genre, and it's also shockingly difficult. Like, I ended up playing. My final counter on that game says I played it for 18 hours. But my final playtime, like when it gives you like, okay, your run of like not dying, right? Your final like time was 13 hours. So I lost about 5 hours because of dying and mishaps and whatnot. But man, that game was a challenge all the way up to the end where I was constantly kind of like having to make strategic decisions about when to save and when not to save. Because it was giving me flashbacks to like the early days of like playing Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, and only having a very limited amount of ink ribbons and being like, I gotta use these smart because if I use one and I run out, who knows when I'm gonna find more. And I got to towards the end of the game where I was like, I feel like I'm getting pretty close to the end, but it could still be a ways. There's a lot of map in this area left to explore, and I have one save item left, and if I use it now, there's a really good chance that I'm just locking myself into like a really fucking long run that I have to get right or I'm fucked. And that's just kind of like, it's just kind of the magic sauce, right? But like, and there was something that somebody mentioned, and I don't think I mentioned it last week, but I just wanted to bring up here, like one of the cool things it does, because we were joking about the whole, the horrors of war, right? Which is, they lean on a lot for making this kind of a unique survival horror game. And it started happening more and more, like the further in the game you go, like I'm starting to like, I'm getting into skirmishes, right? And I'm shooting soldiers. And I mentioned it last time, you can sometimes like shoot someone and they fall over and they're not quite dead. And I can now confirm that the choices you make throughout the game, especially in regards to how you treat soldiers who you wound but don't kill, can have an impact on your ending. And you start to, like, if I end up shooting someone who I've wounded, who's no longer really a threat, like you'll see the little item thing, the little shiny thing pop up, right? And I'm like, oh shit, they dropped an item, and I run up to it and I pick it up, and it's a fucking like a photograph of their like family. And I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck? And it's just, and it starts happening a ton. And so it started to influence the way I was like make the choices I was making throughout the game, which I thought was really interesting.
How many did it take, Nick?
3 or 4 before I was like, I think this is trying to tell me something.
You murdered
Like,
3 or 4 people before you realized maybe murder is bad.
First of all, you're in the trenches, right? And everybody's viciously trying to kill you, and it's just like it's literally like desperate. There are so many moments in this game where I was just like desperate to survive. I almost feel like we should be playing footage, but I didn't really bring any this week. But it's just like it started to really influence the decisions I was making, and I thought that was, and it does it kind of organically with shit like that, and it's really interesting. But like that, the game throws you into situations where it's like enemies are scary, and the rats that they start throwing at you are fucking scary. Like rats are terrifying. Rats are so scary that the developer has decided they are basically going to nerf rats because they're too aggressive and there's too many of them, and it's horrifying. But the one other thing I wanted to mention was like they did this so subtly, but like the map is so large and so intricate, kind of like the mansion from Resident Evil 1, that like I'm constantly feel like I could progress the story, but I feel like there's probably things I've missed. There's probably like a door I couldn't unlock, and I never figured out how to get in there. And I found a key pretty early on in the game, like really like in the first or second chapter, and I was like, it's like this weird pronged key. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And then later on, like halfway through the game, I found another one, and I was like, what the fuck is this key for? I didn't even find what the first one was for. And then I get to the very end of the fucking game, I found a third one, and I was like, I still have no clue what these fucking keys are for. There's a fucking door in the very last level, at the very fucking end, that you can only get in if you found like 3 of these keys. And I was like, holy, I just had this pit, because it doesn't tell you what it is. Because all it shows you, like, it's like one of those things that you examine a door, and it shows you kind of like, this is what's keeping the door closed. And you can kind of see like these chains, these like locks on it. And I was like, and then I see, because all the keys were pronged, like 2-pronged, and all the keyholes in the locks have 2 little things. And I was like, oh my god, these are the fucking keys I've been finding. And it was just this beautiful epiphany moment. And I was just like,
it worth it?
It's like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's where it made the like there was an item in there that made the final battle way easier, and there was a secret in there that I don't want to spoil, that you can use in a very particular way that it doesn't tell you how to use, that will directly impact the ending that you're gonna get.
I don't think you understood his question. He meant, was it all worth it?
It was not none. I got what I felt like was a really. I was like, oh my god, that's how my story ends. But I kind of went back after the game ended and looked up what the other, like, there's like 4 or 5 different variations of the ending, and they're all fucking like they're all like, I was like, oh yeah, right.
Nick wanted a satisfying bow on the end of World War One. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what I was expecting. Probably shouldn't have expected a happy ending. But yeah, game's fantastic. Game's fucking fantastic. One of the coolest like throwback survival horror games I've played ever. So fucking cool. And sorry, I didn't mean to talk about it this long. But yeah, it's pretty fucking good.
Fired. I mean, you're fired.
I'm fired? Okay. Anyways,
we'll
let's
see
do
you
it.
in The Hague, but yeah, otherwise, yeah.
Let's do it, guys. This is it. This is a 1 segment show.
Woo!
Sure you don't want to take a break?
Yes, I'm positive.
Okay.
We're definitely going to take a break.
Yeah, we're going to take a break until next week. But why don't we go ahead and wrap up with the 4-player minute? There's not really anything to report this week, Fantasy Critic related, unless I'm forgetting.
You, dude. My games are finally coming out. I'm getting some points, and you're like, oh, nothing's happening.
You got 12 points for World of Goo 2.
Let's see, World of Goo and SteamWorld Heist are currently at an 83, which, is good. I was kind of hoping for mid-80s on those, but I'm happy. Arranger's still like
79.
79
So you
or
got 9
something,
points
which is
on that.
a little underperforming, but whatever. It's fine. I'm just glad my games are coming out.
I don't think I mentioned this, but I did officially drop. I used my super drop on Black Myth Wukong, my counter pick.
I saw, yeah.
And that game is coming. I didn't realize, someone tweeted the other day, that game's coming out in 15 days, and I was like, what?
Oh yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. Anyways, not to talk too much about Fantasy Critic. I'm just glad games are coming out, and I picked up Tactical Breach Wizards, which I'm excited about, and I hope it does okay. But it's a fucking indie game, so let me guess, it'll be low 80s at best. That's fine. It's fine. Yep. Anyways, 4-player minute. I got a hype, sweat, fuck you, thank you, of course, every week.
Yeah, every week.
My fuck you goes to the Dread Delusion patch. They finally patched in a hard mode, and it seemed really cool, and it seemed like they made all the right choices to make the game a lot harder. but then they did a thing where you can't actually choose it from an existing save. You have to start a new game. And I went into the Discord to like say, hey, I want my discontent to be known, and I got chased out of there basically. Fuck you. That doesn't have to do shit. Fuck you. Yeah, like, whatever, dude. I just want to, I don't want to have to start the fucking game over. God damn it. Fuck. Also fuck you, or like my where the fuck is it for the week is World of Goo had a whistle. I thought I remembered this existing, but sure enough, someone reminded me. Yeah, World of Goo had a whistle that you could do to like get your goos all to one place or away from another place. There's no whistle in World of Goo 2. It's like the first thing that's like noticeably missing. And I've seen on Reddit, people finish the game and they're like, yeah, there's no fucking whistle. But if you go into like the fucking INI files or whatever, there's like whistles set to
references
like
to it,
false or whatever the fuck. And it's like, okay, well, they're supposed to be a whistle. And when you set it to true, it doesn't give us a whistle.
Changed
but like,
it to true?
Did they just forget to put in the whistle or something? I don't know if this game was like weirdly rushed out the door. I don't know what's happening, but it needs a fucking whistle. That was like a pretty important mechanic because, I don't want to get into why. It's just, where's my fucking whistle? Why are they going to patch in a whistle? I need my whistle. My sweat for the week goes to Silksong, of course. It's going to be my sweat for the week until the end of the year. I'm going to go down with I just want you to know that this is part Fantasy Critic update. I'm going down with the ship. Like, I believe Silksong is a game that can shadow drop or be like, oh, it's coming out next week. So I dropped like Mina the Hollower because, even though that could come out, I don't believe it will. Silksong is a game that like, that's my first round draft pick. If I'm going to win this league, I need Silksong to come out. So I can't just get rid of it. What am I going to replace it with another 93 or whatever the fuck? No, right? So I'm just going to go down with the ship. I'm going to lean into the meme, and at least I think. I mean, unless they confirm that it's for sure not coming out, obviously I'll swap it out. But if they say nothing, I don't plan on dropping it. I don't, probably a mistake, but I feel like I need it anyways.
I mean, you can't technically drop it until it's officially announced for next year, right?
No, I mean, I can. Yeah, I mean, so let me be clear here. The chance of the game coming out this year might be in jeopardy, right? But there's no way that they don't say anything.
Well, yeah.
So I think by the end of the year, they will say something. So, like, obviously, delay drops are unlimited. I still have my free drop, which I plan to use on Mario. The reason I haven't done that yet is because, like, by the end of the year, Nintendo can absolutely have unveiled the new Switch, and which might show a Mario game, which would make that a free delay drop, which means I could use my free drop on something else, if that makes sense. So I'm just waiting. That's why my roster is complete, but not really complete. But thank you for the week, Ghost Crispy. We had made a deal like, dude, I'll buy World to Go 2. You buy. Thank you for smoking. What's the fucking game called?
I don't know.
Thank goodness you're here. Thank goodness you're here. And he was like, yeah, let's do it, man. But when I made the deal, I didn't know that World of Goo 2 wasn't on Steam. So, because we Steam library share. But he said, fuck it. It's okay. I'll buy it anyways. I'll just buy World of Goo 2 on my own or whatever. So anyways, thanks for picking up. I think you should leave. So I can play that.
Forgot he said it 2 seconds ago.
Thank goodness you're here.
Thank goodness you're here, damn it.
Yeah. Anyways, that's all. That's all right.
All right. Nolan, care to go next?
Sure. My 4-player minute starts now. I don't really have. I mean, so the one thing I will say, I did. I kind of talked about it right before we went live, but I went to the movies this past weekend. For the first time in a long time, and this is the 4th movie I have seen in theaters in 4 years. I loved every minute of being at the theater. I can't wait to start going again. What is that new M. Night movie? Trap. I want to go see that now in theaters.
Good trailer, at least.
I think we're going to see that on Friday, actually.
And the funny thing is it's been so long since I've been to the theater. I had some credits on my account. And so I went to go book the tickets or whatever, and it was like, hey, you know, before you finalize, you probably want to eat some popcorn and drink some soda at the theater. And I was like, I kind of do. And they're like, hey, if you can pre-order it on the app and it'll be ready for you when you show up. And I was like, that's a fucking thing now?
What?
I guess that seems weird.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, you can either pick it up at the counter or they'll deliver it to your seats.
Shut the fuck up. What theater was this?
A Cinemark.
Dude, yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? And
I've been to one Cinemark in the past 2 years or so, whatever. I went and saw The Flash with Marcus, actually.
I'm
Yeah, it was fun. I got to go to the movie with Marcus. That was pretty fun. But like, yeah, it was a weird experience being in a. It felt cool though, like being in a Cinemark again. I was like, this is like classic movie theater. It's kind of nice.
Oh no, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was a really interesting concept, and I guess, you know, it makes sense, and, you know, there's a lot of things that, you know, something like the Draft House or whatever, where they deliver food to your seats. It's like so very common and stuff, and it's like, why can't another theater do it? I don't know, whatever, it's fine. I think it's one of those things just to draw people to the theater. Which, hey, you know what, whatever. Like, I'm definitely want to start going back again. There's lots of things that I feel I'm sad I missed. But, you know, moving and all this stuff, and then a new house, and just kind of worried about, you know, my dog's separation anxiety and whatever. But I think now that we've been here for long enough, you know, they're kind of cool with us leaving him at home for, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, I think the longest we've probably gone is like 4.5 hours. Don't want to push it too far. But yeah. And one other thing.
Getting back on the movie horse.
Oh, dude, yeah, I'm so excited. Well, that's the one other big problem is we had an issue with the place. I have not gotten a chance since we've been here to set up my movie room. And so I have a screen with a projector, kind of like, you know, what Nick has. And the problem is there was an issue with that room, and the builder was like, oh, we'll fix it. And I was like, cool. Well, I've been here for a year and they've still not fixed it.
No.
And they're like, hey, we promise they're going to fix it. But the problem is, like, it has to do with the floor. And so I didn't want to move a bunch of crap in there because then when it comes time for them to fix it, I have to move it out.
Yeah.
And
they'd, like,
so
pull up carpet and remove like stuff.
Yeah, they have to fix some stuff under the carpet. And so it's like, I didn't want to set up my thing because I thought it was going to take them like 3-4 months maybe. But now it's been a year and I'm like, ah. And so like my projector screen has just been in a, you know, rolled up in a box with my projector and my audio stuff, all is in the basement, just been hanging out. And now that we're kind of getting back into like watching some stuff, like we just started watching Shogun, and there's been a few movies that I just haven't seen because I want to watch them not on my fucking
on a bigger screen.
TV.
Yeah,
I want to watch
just
them
watch
on my
Dune
fucking...
2 on a tablet in bed. It's the same difference.
See, that's what I'm talking about. There's movies like Godzilla -1. I haven't seen that yet because I don't want to just watch it on the new not Top Gun. Mission Impossible. I've still not seen the new Mission Impossible movie.
Oh, what?
Which I really fucking want to, but I don't want to watch it on my tiny TV. I want to watch it on my I have a 120-inch screen. That's how big my projector screen is. I loved when I used to watch shit on it literally almost every day, and watching movies on it was great. But now so anyway.
That is definitely one to watch. Wait to hold out until you can watch on your screen.
But that's what I'm saying. You know, it's been so long, and like, yes, I want to watch it.
Dude, here's the alternative: watch it in VR. Be like a 300-foot screen.
That probably is the best alternative, Brad. But the problem is, there's some stuff I want to watch with Bernadette, and like I don't have 2 VR headsets, and even if I did, that would be awkward. But anyway,
or it would be sexy, like in Demolition Man.
You're not wrong.
Touche.
It very much a fucking like Wall-E world right there, fucking staring at our fucking VR headsets together. But anyway, excited for that. So the other thing is, I'm very thankful that I don't have to give a fuck you. Thankfully, that I missed every single spoiler for the new Deadpool movie. And nothing got ruined for me before going to see it. I'm not going to spoil anything here because I'm not a dick. But I really enjoyed it. I'm really glad.
You're embargoed on those spoilers.
I my personal embargo for spoilers is approximately 20 years. I will spoil 20-year-old stuff.
Ooh, what came out 20 years ago? Let's look.
I'm not going to spoil stuff for people unless we have a conversation beforehand and they ask me to spoil it for them. That is the only scenario in which I will spoil something.
That's what I thought it was, just in general, and apparently I was ill-informed.
You and I are on the same page.
Hey, The Village came out in 2004. It's modern day. They're just like in a
Jesus Christ.
separate, like there was separate.
Wait, what
fucking
month
cult
in 2020
thing.
in 2004 did it come out? Like maybe actually, I think it came out in like August or October.
I don't
Ah,
like
So
what's
it,
happening.
it might
We're
not be
close enough to
What
20
a
years.
twist. Anyway, so I mean, to Brad's, okay, 25 years, Brad.
wow,
God damn, that was 20 years ago. Fuck, it doesn't
Yeah.
feel like that was 20 years ago.
I'm
Y'all,
just stop
y'all
thinking
call
about
me the spoiler bitch around here, and look what's happening
Hey,
right now.
I've still not spoiled anything.
It's
Fight Club was 25 years ago. Brad Pitt's not real. It's.
I don't
it's,
mind you spoiling Fight Club. Come on, man. That,
Oh, Sixth Sense
you-
was 25 years ago. He's dead.
honestly, I would be shocked if someone did not know that.
Yeah.
I would be.
I think I remember.
I
I told
think
you
remember
the
seeing.
tragedy when I told David's brother that Snape killed Dumbledore, and he
Yeah, I
almost
know.
started crying.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
you
that was a
spoiled
dick
that
move.
way too soon. Yeah.
I
Anyway.
think I remember seeing like a on Instagram or something. There was like a comedian on stage telling a thing, and he was like part of his bit was talking about the Sixth Sense, and he's like, I think it's okay. I think you can go ahead and say this, and he's like says it out loud, and you just hear someone in the front row go, and he's like, oh shit. Apparently, the person did not know that Bruce Willis was dead.
25 years ago was the Virgin Suicides. Yep. The title is correct.
Okay. Anyways, moving right along.
Yep.
Chris Davis, it is your turn.
So, over in the realm of, so you're telling me there's a chance news. One of the pieces of things that came out this week that's actually decent good news, potentially, is that Valve may now be working again on a Half-Life project.
Half-Life, yeah.
So Tyler McVicker, he used to run the Valve News Network. He's a data miner that looks at Valve dumps of information. He's one of many data miners that has been looking at recent updates to Valve's shared code index, where they publish updates on Steam.
Right.
And they're coinciding with that. There was a voice actress that accidentally updated her resume with a project called White Sands and attributed the developer behind the project to be Valve. White Sands, of course, is a NASA facility in New Mexico. Black Mesa was in New Mexico.
People
So
are
there's
connecting dots.
They're connecting
It's probably
dots.
a code name, right?
So-
It's alluding to a code name that is
definitely,
probably
yeah.
Half-Life related.
100%. So when Half-Life Alyx came out, the development of that was a little turbulent in the past year in the last year of it, because they kind of remade the entire game in like 10, 11 months, I think it was, something like that. And so a lot of content got cut, but that cut content, because of how Valve stores all of their code sources together in one singular database, everything links together in some way. So there have been references for years to a code name HLX. And for a long time, people thought that was the Citadel project, which is turned into Neon Prime, which turned into the new game Deadlock, which Valve, it's basically confirmed. Like, people have been playing it. But HLX evidently is now having updates to its code base referencing HEV suits and something called a Zen Gorilla. Like, stuff that sounds like it was cut from Alyx. And this stuff is getting updated. So, I mean,
All signs seem to potentially point to new Half-Life game, which,
Yeah.
if you've played Half-Life Alyx, they kind of tee one up, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't feel like they would bring back Half-Life to make something like Half-Life Alyx and then tee up a
Yeah, they couldn't possibly
game.
have some big cliffhanger and just not do anything with it for
the first time,
years and years and
okay,
years.
well,
and
first
years.
of all, but here's the thing: the first time they did that, I don't think they knew. I mean, I don't think they did that intentionally necessarily. So when they came back and they're like, okay, we're finally going to revisit Half-Life in a big way, I don't think you would really. I'd like to think that they wouldn't just.
Did they say that like officially? We're gonna revisit Half-Life.
No,
in
I'm
a
talking about when
big
they were
way?
getting ready to do Half-Life Alyx, like when they were going to release Half-Life
Yeah.
Alyx.
yeah.
Oh,
I don't-
before. Okay.
No,
I don't think they would have they would have built Half-Life Alyx to tee up another thing like that, knowing the reaction it got the first time they did it, which was very like, oh my god, what the fuck.
Yeah, no, in
So,
their
like-
marketing for Half-Life Alyx, they were specifically saying out loud, like, yes, we're coming back to Half-Life. We want to do more things with Half-Life. So,
Yeah,
I
remember that.
yeah, I don't think this is actually Half-Life 3. I think this is another Alyx-style spinoff, but non-VR.
I'll fucking take it. I don't care. Like after Half-Life
I'll take
Alyx, I will
anything.
take whatever they want to give us.
Yeah,
Um,
but, you know,
consider me excited.
you're telling me
hear
there's
more.
a chance. So
There's a chance.
I'll
I think
take it.
I think that's the best thing you could take from that is there is a chance.
Yes.
Very cool. My 4-player minute, I'll keep it short. There was a delay this week, which is both a good thing and a bad thing, maybe. Stalker 2 was delayed to November 20th.
Well, there were two delays.
What do you mean?
Well,
Related to Stalker?
2 got pushed to November, and then
Yeah.
Avowed
I'm only
got
talking about
pushed
Stalker.
to February.
Oh, right. I'm specifically talking about Stalker 2. But yeah, Avowed got delayed to 2025.
You don't play that fantasy bullshit, Chris Davis.
That's
Come
not.
on.
First of all, Brad's misinterpreting my comment to Crispy about Avowed. I was specifically telling Crispy, "Hey, Avowed got delayed," and I didn't want to like seem like I was
He
like trying
said,
to rub his
but that
face
could
in
be a
it.
good thing,
No,
right?
I said to Crispy, I don't know if you consider this a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know how you feel about your list or whatever.
Wow.
So,
you mean
but
a
I'm just
game he
letting you know.
drafted? He thinks is going to be shit.
I mean, here's
No.
the thing, Brad,
Bitch.
is that if
Obsidian ships 80 plus games almost always their entire career.
You read
Why
too much
would-
into it. I'm not here to talk about Avowed, all right? Avowed got delayed.
Say you think
Yeah.
it looks like shit.
I mean,
I don't think
Brad,
it looks like shit.
think about it this
I
way.
don't
Like,
think-
if here's the question I have: is that if Nick doesn't play Western fantasy games and he's racist towards Japanese games, like,
First of all,
what
not
kind of
really.
gamer
Let's not
even
say
is
that
he?
out loud.
Eurojank. Avowed is too polished.
I do
You know,
enjoy
what
me
is it?
some good Eurojank. Look. I'm just here to. I just wanted to say that Stalker 2 was delayed, and on one hand, I'm a little nervous about it because it pushes it closer to the end of the year, and things could always slip further. I don't think that's going to happen. This very much feels like hey, we're pushing it to do some extra polish, but we are still planning to launch it this year. So November 20th. On the good thing about that is that it pushes it out of that week of chaos for me, which is the first week or second week of September, which is just jam-packed full of shit. This is one less game that I need to try and juggle during that time because I want to play all these games. So in that regard, I'm very happy with this decision. Although it does push it to within 5 days of the release of Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is going to be a big game, and I'm worried that it might slip again just to get out of the way of Assassin's Creed, but maybe if they do that, it'll only slip into maybe December or something. I don't know, because December right now is not looking super crowded.
I mean,
about-
they're both
Silent
going to be
Hill have a
pretty
release
good Thanksgiving games. So
Silent Hill has a release date of October 8th.
Anything without a date is pretty scary right now, right? I don't think Dragon
Yeah.
Age is gonna maybe make
I'm
it.
still
or-
I'm a little nervous about Decapolice, but Tokyo Game Show still hasn't happened.
So Japanese games, I think, have a better chance of hitting their goals, honestly, than Western games. I feel like it's Western games where you're constantly seeing them be delayed out of the fourth quarter.
Right.
Yeah. So the problem is we haven't heard about Decapolice in a long time, right?
No, that's why I'm
But see,
kind of holding out.
that's
to it, see what
that's one
happens
where
with
I would
Tokyo
tell
Game Show.
you, like you told Crispy, that might actually be an okay thing. You might be able to replace it with like more guaranteed.
Well, I can't
win.
do anything with it until it's officially delayed.
Of course.
So Tokyo Game
Oh.
Show, which is happening next.
Yeah.
I can't. When is Tokyo Game Show happening? I
Tokyo Game Show is not till September. Next thing is Gamescom, which happens towards like a couple weeks.
Which we're starting to see teases. We're starting opening night live at Gamescom is pretty soon, so we're starting to see teases.
Which will probably
for
be
things.
realistically the last time where probably a lot of these bigger release dates finally get hammered in. Probably what we should be looking for if you're trying to like fill up your Fantasy Critic roster. You know, I feel like after Gamescom, you're entering like dicey territory, like more struggling to find.
I'm to start making choices. Yeah.
yeah.
You guys are making some choices.
But anyways, that's
before we end this podcast, I'm not going to name the titles of the movies. I'm just going to spoil some things. 25 years. We've hit the 25-year limit. Okay.
You have your spoiler warning.
He is the one. No, I'm not going to be specific. Okay. I believe Michael Clark Duncan is magical or something at the end of that movie. Chris Cooper kills Kevin Spacey. Qui-Gon dies. That one's a little specific.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah, how many movies?
The witch is real. I think probably there is a witch. I'm pretty sure.
What are you talking about? What are we talking about?
You gotta figure. I'm not spoiling anything specific. I mean,
20 years
look it
ago.
up. Oh,
This is 20 or 25.
25.
The robot dies at the end. Sorry.
Blair Witch.
Hey, easy, Nick.
Sorry.
Oh, I don't want to spoil that one bog noise.
Yeah. Oh, by the way,
that one's like you actually fucked that movie up for people.
Robin has
that
never
one's too
seen
good of a
Old
twist.
Boy, and we're gonna watch that
good
here
of a
pretty
twist.
soon.
Nick, which version?
The
of
old
Boy?
one.
Okay.
Which again,
Old
I have
Boy.
not seen either, but I have seen the remake. So we're gonna watch the original together. So it'll be kind of like we're watching a movie for the first time together. Even though I know what the spoiler is, and I know what's happening.
I'm not seeing
right,
much else.
Thanks for that, Brad.
Winona Ryder is crazy? Question mark.
All right, guys. That's our show this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, in the meantime, you can join us in Discord at discord.gg/4Player. We'd love to have you there. We're hanging out talking about video games and movies and TV and Dexter and, all that stuff.
And curtains.
And God damn it, Chris Davis. My fuck you this week goes to Chris Davis for invading my Talk to Nick About Dexter thread to start going off in weird tangents talking about curtains. Fucking hate you.
I just asked an innocent question because you took a picture of your media setup. You had nice curtains. I had a question, and it just kind of naturally progressed.
Take that shit to general. Anyways, the point is, we'd love to hear from you in our Discord at discord.gg/4Player. You can, of course, find all of our podcasts on 4playernetwork.com, as well as your favorite podcast service. And we record these episodes every Tuesday night at around 8 p.m. We hang out, watch game trailers, and then sit around and talk about video games for a while. So if that sounds good, we hope you'll see us next week when we return to do this again. In the meantime...
He does fuck the pie.
In the meantime, guys, be good to each other, play video games. Good night.
He does have cancer? Question mark. Might be a hoax.
What is that for?
Save your file.
It might be a hoax, or maybe he actually does have cancer and died. We'll never really know.
I don't even know what that's referencing.
Jim Carrey, maybe would help.
Oh.
What's the episode number?
805.
Alrighty. God, I really need Intel to issue their microcode patch. I'm starting to get worried.
For what?
Oh, you know how the 13th, 14th gen processors from Intel have been fucked?
Mm-hmm.
Well, evidently they have determined the reason why, and they said they're going to release a microcode update that people can install by mid-March. Well, my CPU is one of those, and it hasn't been crashing, but ever since I updated my BIOS last week, because it was recommended to me, all of a sudden the thermals are just fucking fluctuating.
Oh, I turned my PC on the other day. This doesn't sound like a really noob question, probably. I turned my PC on the other day, and I went to a screen that basically said my overclock settings have been reset, and then it took me to BIOS. And I'm like, do I need to worry about that? Or I just...
Hope not.
I mean, you haven't updated your BIOS, obviously.
No. I mean, it's... computer's still performing just fine. Haven't had any issues. Just,
Probably don't
This
need to
one's
worry
a bit
about
of
it
a
then.
question mark spoiler. There was something in the fireplace that like bites off Owen Wilson's head. What was the thing that did that?
From The Haunting?
Yeah, I was so
What?
confused by that scene.
When
don't remember.
Owen Wilson walks into the giant like stand-in fireplace, and then that like pendulum that swings back and forth. I think it was just
a
supposed to be.
pendulum?
Yeah, I think it was just literally. I think it was. Oh, I think it was supposed to be the flue. You know how you like the thing that you like, but it's like giant because it's a giant chimney. So like I think the giant flue had this like giant like lion head.
It like
thing
bit off his
ornamented.
head, right?
It didn't. I mean, it knocks his head off.
It looked like it bit his head off. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Any other spoilers for us, Brad?
Oh, I don't know. My list I have pulled up here is questionable.
Yeah, Mercenary, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, we broadcast weekly on
Why do
YouTube
I
and
see-
Twitch
Oh my
now.
god, we
Who's
have a new
Mercenary?
viewer? Who was the one that
This bitch.
you were worried I
This
would
bitch.
scare away? What was the thing I said?
Wait, I don't just see someone named Mercenary. I see
It's on YouTube.
Cockroach.
YouTube.
Oh, on YouTube. I keep forgetting to have YouTube chat pulled up.
Yeah.
We also have a Cockroach in chat and Ariag, but I think Ariag has been around for a while. It's just I don't see him very often. And I'm sure we have some lurkers. Where are lurkers at?
The Mummy? What's a good Mummy spoiler? The Mummy came out.
It doesn't
Rachel
like
Weisz
cats.
dies
Does she? Does she die in that?
in the
Not
sequel.
really.
Oh.
Well, that's not the
Does
mummy.
she get
It's the
mummified?
mummy returns.
Yeah.
No.
Oh. I don't remember. She question mark dies in The Mummy Returns?
Yes.
So Robin loves the Mummy, but what is her opinion on the Mummy Returns?
I mean, she loves it. She will not watch the third one.
Okay.
The Scorpion?
And she
Is that
definitely
just
will
on
not
principle,
watch.
or has she actually seen it before?
Yes, because they recast Rachel Weisz's part,
Oh, really?
and she won't watch it. Yeah.
But they kept the brother?
Oh,
I actually
Sam
don't know.
Jackson
I mean,
gets
I've
eaten
never
by
seen
a
it.
shark by the shark after the speech.
That's a good one.
I have never seen the third one either.
Neither.
So I don't know the answer to that question. But she won't watch that one, and she definitely won't watch the Tom Cruise one. Still haven't seen that either. That's probably
Has
a
she
good
seen the
call,
trailer, though?
Yes. You know what's funny? Last night, so usually I like go upstairs to the theater room or whatever and watch stuff, and when Robin's watching stuff, she'll be downstairs, but we kind of flip-flop last night. So I was watching TV downstairs, and she was upstairs, and I was like, for a while, I was kind of quiet, and I was like, what the hell is she watching? And I just like went to the bottom of the stairs, and I called up, and I was like, what are you watching up there? She's like, Saw? I was like, what?
All right.
Okay. Random. She was right before that. She was watching Bob's Burgers. So like
Basically
talk
the
about
same thing.
yeah, just talk about just a complete shift. Yeah. Yep.
Sometimes you need something for the right part of the brain. Sometimes you need something for the left.
I suppose. Yeah.
Oh, Chris Kattan comes back as a ghost and saves the day. That was a bad. That was a bad twist in that
Kattan?
movie.
What movie was that?
Go look at it. Oh, it was awful.
Wait, seriously,
I'll let
what,
somebody in chat. I'll let somebody
what
in
movies
chat.
has Chris? I'm trying to even think of anything that Chris Kattan was. I mean, was this like at all related to like Mad TV?
I want to see if someone Mad TV. How dare you? I want to see if
I feel
somebody.
like the only thing I've ever seen Chris Kattan in has been something.
What?
I want to see if Chat can figure it out.
You guys want some Girl Scout cookies?
Chris Kattan comes back as a ghost to save the day.
Oh, House on
Wow,
Haunted Hill.
Wigan got it. Wigan got it. Oh,
He was
man.
in House on Haunted Hill?
That's the only thing I could think of. Yeah.
Yeah, he died, and it came back as a ghost at the end and saved it. I feel like that movie was all right until the ghost.
Corky
Chris Kattan.
Romano. I forgot about Corky Romano.
Until Ghost Chris Kattan came back, I feel like that movie was okay.
Dude, there was a time in my life where I thought House on a Haunted Hill was like one of the scariest things I've ever seen in my life. I have a feeling it probably wouldn't hold
you
up.
mean specifically the one with Ghost
Yeah,
Chris
the
Kattan?
one with Chris Kattan.
And
Not-
Famke
okay.
Jensen and like
And
their fucking giant ass
Because
recorder
like
thing.
the original
Yeah, I
is like a
remember.
pretty famous horror film.
Yeah, I actually never seen the original.
Wow.
I know.
Did they ever do anything? The guy that did Hill House and Bly Manor, did he ever do like a season 3?
He did Midnight Mass. He did. Oh my God, what's the one
Season
that I
3.
just watched?
Yeah, yeah, he did several.
The fucking Edgar Allan Poe. Why am I blanking on the fucking name? It was just.
Oh yeah.
He's done 4 shows. I mean, he's technically done 5. He also did Midnight Club, but I've never seen that one. That one's a little bit different.
I've never seen. What does it technically mean? Should I watch
mean,
Midnight Club?
I've heard it's good. It's just it's not like if you're going to it looking for like more of like Hill House or Bly Manor or that kind of thing. It's a little less. It's like if you were like watching like an HBO show and then switching to like a CW show. That's how I understand it. I've never seen it though, so I could be. Follow the House of Usher. Thank you. So, Hill House, Bly Manor, Midnight Mass, Follow the House of Usher. All of those shows are fucking phenomenal, in my opinion, anyways.
I only ever saw some of Hill House.
Hill House, you should watch from top to start to finish. It's phenomenal.
I got
I
another
jumped
one
in
for
like
99.
episode 7 or 8, and because my roommate was
You jumped
watching it,
in 7 or 8? That's a
Yeah.
bad place to jump in. Also, Midnight Mass, it's low key one of my favorite
Yeah, I
standalone
Midnight
like
Mass.
horror shit. Like, oh my god.
Here's a spoiler: boys do cry. Me at the end of that movie. Jesus.
Okay. Oh, I know. Okay, I guess.
Iron Giant, maybe.
No, I think he was
No.
including the name of the movie in his. Yeah. Boys Don't Cry.
Also, I already spoiled the Iron Giant.
You did? Oh my god. All right, gentlemen, I am ducking out.
Oh.
Same.
Peace out, homies.
Bye.
He
He got away with it? Did he get away with it? He was talented. Did he get away with it in the end? I
Mr.
don't
Ripley?
remember. Yeah, did he get away with it in the end? I feel like he did. It's a
I
dark
actually don't
movie.
remember. I need to rewatch that.
Oh, here's a spoiler. That boat scene is still horrifying.
Oh, it is. It is.
Wait,
Still
what's-
horrifying.
what scene?
That's
The
all you
boat
had to say, and I know
scene in the
exactly what you're
talented
talking
Mr.
about.
Ripley.
Oh! I thought we were switching to a different movie now. Okay.
Wait, wait, are you talking about the talented Mr. Ripley?
Yeah.
What were you
Okay, I was
thinking
talking about
of?
something.
Only your
Ghost
horrific
ship?
boat scene.
Ghost
Yeah,
ship?
Brad got it.
Ghost ship. Oh, what are you talking about?
I know what you're talking about now, Brad.
with the thing that like
What's the
cuts
thing?
everybody.
No,
Is that what you're
I'm thinking
talking
of
about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, Ghost Ship, yeah. No, this is no, that scene from the Talented Mr. Ripley where he like spoilers.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.